Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if Naruto reveals a power no one expected. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content, and do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. The fight was not going well for the Konoha shinobi. With Jiraiya still weak from Tsunade's drug, Tsunade herself frightened to immobility by the sight of the blood in the area, and Shizen also out of commission, there was only one person between Tsunade and Kabuto, Naruto. The problem was he too was no injured. Kabuto just used his chakra scalpel to injure Naruto's leg when he tried to hit the glasses wearing Otonin with the incomplete Rasengan. With great effort, Naruto stood up and glared at his enemy. Kabuto found this amusing and decided to taunt Naruto a bit. Kabuto pulled out one of his Nin info cards and showed it Naruto. "Naruto," he said, "isn't this a picture of you from around the time of the test?" Naruto gave no reply except a questioning look. "You're nothing special, Naruto." Kabuto was looking at the picture with Naruto's information. "You should run, if you can still move. It was luck that you became a genin, but with that exceptional spirit it would fitting for you to become Hokage." Kabuto paused and gave Naruto a condescending look. "But for that you cannot be cowardly." Naruto looked surprised and Kabuto smirked, knowing he was getting to the genin. "Now, do you think that you could possibly become something like that?" Tsunade, being so close, could hear every one of Kabuto's statements. It was reminding her of the argument she and Naruto had just a week prior, with her ridiculing Naruto and saying his dream was foolish. She could not help but feel sorrow as she compared herself to the person trying to kill the one protecting her. Kabuto's condescending smirk vanished, however, when Naruto's face became one of absolute determination. "You say I'm nothing special, and yet you don't know a damn thing about me," Naruto exclaimed. "What's with those eyes?" Kabuto taunted. "They'll get you killed. If you die here, you'll never attain your dreams or anything else." "I won't run away. I'll become Hokage," Naruto said. "Then die," Kabuto replied as he charged the injured genin, preparing a fatal blow. To his surprise, Naruto stood his ground even with the bad leg. To Kabuto's further surprise, Naruto began to make hand seals. This surprised him because all his information about Naruto said he could only do two jutsus, Kaigebushin no Jutsu and Kyukyos no Jutsu, and the seals Naruto was doing were longer than either ninjutsu. When Naruto was finished, he called out, "Makudan, Kita Shibara no Jutsu." What element, branch bind skill? To the amazement of everyone watching the battle, several tree branches suddenly sprouted from the ground and encircled Kabuto, stopping him mid-stride. "What the hell is this?" Kabuto shouted, sharing the thoughts of everyone there, completely stunned, none more so the Tsunade, by this development. "Hey Tsunade-abakan," Naruto said, forming another hand seal, this one much more familiar to everyone watching. "You remember the arrangements of the bet?" Tsunade did not answer, still too stunned by Naruto's jutsu. "Now you'll have to give me that back luck charm amulet of yours, Kaigebushin no Jutsu." A single clone appeared to Naruto's right. "One Kaigebushin?" Tsunade thought. "What's he doing? And how did he?" Her thoughts were cut off when the Kaigebushin started to help Naruto form the Rasengan. It provided a second and third hand that balanced as well as put pressure on the swirling chakra in his right hand. When the ball of chakra was fully stabilized, the Kaigebushin vanished into a cloud of smoke just as Naruto dashed straight towards Kabuto. "Let's see you avoid this one." "Rasengan!" Kabuto showed fear for the first time as Naruto plunged the chakra ball into his gut. The result of the attack was a sudden burst of spinning air pressure that ripped apart the wood bindings holding Kabuto in place, as well as catapulting Kabuto backwards. For nearly 10 meters he flew, with the ground being torn apart by the trailing vortex of wind. What finally stopped him was a large boulder that crumbled because of the impact. To Naruto's shock, however, Kabuto was still standing at the end. Those were impressive jutsus. The wound of Kabuto's stomach started to shrink right before Naruto and Tsunade's eyes. "If I hadn't started to heal the damage at the point of impact, I would have been done for." The wound all but disappeared as Naruto dropped to his knees due to chakra exhaustion. "They seem to have tired you out." Kabuto took a step forward to finish Naruto off, but suddenly doubled over in pain. "What is this?" His mind screamed as the second part of the Rasengan's effects occurred, the delayed damage from air pressure that resulted after the initial hit of the Rasengan. Orochimaru, after seeing the jutsus Naruto displayed, came to a decision. "Those jutsus," the snake Sannin thought. "He could become a threat to my future plans. I must kill him now while I have the chance. I'll find out how he has the Shodame's power afterwards." With his decision made, Orochimaru jumped away from the still distracted Jiraiya, calling on his sword Kusanagi, grass cutter. Naruto saw the attack but was too tired to move out of the way. In fact, he was too tired to even stay awake. But just as the sword reached him, Naruto saw Tsunade step in front of him, saving his life. He blacked out soon afterwards, faintly hearing, "Because I'm the Godame Hokage." When Naruto woke up, the first thing he noticed was that his location was inside a hotel room. The next thing he discovered was that it was dark out, meaning he had been out for several hours at least. What happened? He asked quietly. The battle he recently fought came back to his mind. Oh yeah. The fight with Orochimaru and Kabuto. Since I'm alive, I guess we won. Naruto's ears then caught noises outside his room and he strained to listen in. Alright, Jiraiya. He heard Tsunade say loudly, you have a lot of explaining to do. You think I know how he managed that jutsu? Jiraiya replied. I haven't got a clue, he never used anything like that before. At least not in the few months I've known him. You expect me to believe that? Tsunade asked. There was a dead silence afterwards and Naruto could imagine the two senins glaring at one another in anger. The silence was broken by a muffled third voice. A few seconds later the door opened and the three that were speaking in the other room entered. When they saw Naruto was awake they gave him a piercing look. It was not one of anger or malice but one of curiosity, like they were trying to probe deep into his being to try and figure him out. Naruto knew why. It was because of the power he displayed in the fight. A moment later Tsunade's face softened as she approached Naruto's bed. I'm glad to see you're awake, she greeted as she reached for her necklace. Here, this belongs to you. Naruto gave his fox-like grin and took the necklace and put it over his head. Thanks, Abakan. Tsunade smiled for a moment, but it became serious very quickly. Naruto, about the jutsu you used to bind Kabuto, she trailed off when Naruto looked away. It was clear that he did not want to say, but this was his issue that they absolutely needed to know. We need to know, Naruto, Jiraiya said, beating Tsunade to it. I was first able to call on when I was 5, Naruto began. A young Naruto was alone in the woods trying to call on chakra like the sensei at the academy said. It was one of the first lessons they taught and Naruto, like everything else, was forced to practice alone. He was having great difficulty in the exercise, even more so than others for some reason. The only consolation was that he was not the only one having trouble calling on his chakra, as it was difficult to begin with for children so young. But Naruto had seen others do it, and they got high praise for it, and Naruto would do anything for praise. As he continued to try and draw out chakra, he began to notice something about the small trees around him. They seemed to be growing as he concentrated. He stopped trying to call his chakra, and the young trees stopped growing. He called on his chakra again, and the trees grew a little bit. He was confused and repeated the process several times, and his 5-year-old mind could only come up with one conclusion: this is weird. A chuckle from behind Naruto told him he was not alone. When Naruto spun around hoping it was not more people that looked at him with hate, he saw it was the closest person he had to family, Ojaizen. Yes, Naruto, the Hokage said. And what you're doing isn't weird, just a little unexpected. Did I do something wrong? The 5-year-old asked innocently. He was always getting yelled at for doing something wrong he did not know about. No, come with me, I need to tell you some things, the Sandaime said. We talked in his office, and he told me it was something I got from my mother, Naruto said. He told me to keep it a secret because people would want to hurt me because of it. Never told me why, though I figured it was why people hated me, so I agreed. He gave a sad smile at the memory because it brought up the fresh scars of the old Hokage's recent death. 4 years later in history class, one learned about the Shodaime's ability to control wood. I asked him about it, and he said I had the same power and that people might try and kill me to get it. After that he let me read a couple of the Shodaime's scrolls and I learned some of his jutsus. I still kept it a secret to this day. Did Sarutobi-sensei tell you your mother's name? Tsunade asked. Jizan said her name was Dasaburi Minako, Naruto answered. Said he had to change my family name to keep me safe. When he was done, the Sannin gave each other looks, saying they needed to talk some more away from Naruto, mostly to decide how to tell him the rest where the Sandaime left off. Get some more rest, Naruto, Tsunade instructed. We'll be leaving early tomorrow to head back to Konoha. But I'm not tired, Naruto tried to say, but his yawn at the end indicated otherwise, much to the amusement of the others in the room. Okay, I guess I am a little tired, Naruto relented. Just don't let Ero-sennin make us late when we leave tomorrow because he's too tired after getting slapped from girls all night. Don't call me that brat, Jiraiya yelled. And I never get slapped by girls. Why, in fact they flock to my side because of rugged good looks. He then took a thoughtful pose for a second before a perverted smirk appeared on his lips. Although that can be kinda foo. Tsunade, driving him into the floorboards with a downward punch to the head, cut him off. Damn pervert. She scowled. She turned to Naruto, who looked worried because he did not want to be hit by Tsunade, knowing what she could do. When she arrived at his bed, she lifted his height and gave him a soft kiss on the forehead. Get some sleep, Naruto. Naruto nodded with a smile on his face as Tsunade picked the super pervert up by the back of his shirt and dragged him to the door. When the 3 elder shinobi were out of the room, Naruto fingered the necklace, happy that another person had acknowledged him. As he drifted off to sleep, he wondered what he would have to do once they returned to Konoha. Will I be able to tell everyone I can use the Makidan jutsus, or will I have to keep it a secret like before? I hope I can tell people because I'm sure Sakura-chan would go out with me then. Once they were out the door, Jiraiya miraculously straightened out just as Shizen joined them. "Dasaburi Minako, that explains a lot," Jiraiya said. One of two the people that survived Orochimaru's experiments in recreating Shodame's ability to control the Biju's chakra. Because she never showed any of the abilities of the other one, it was thought that even though she survived the experiment, it was ultimately a failure, Tsunade continued. Apparently not as much as one has first thought, Jiraiya said. This also seems to confirm the theory that Shodame's ability was carried on the Y chromosome, and so only his male descendants could use the power, Shizen joined in. That also explains why Tsunade-sama was never able to use the same power. But I wonder why Nawaki. She stopped herself after realized who she mentioned. "I'm sorry, Tsunade-sama." Tsunade waved the apology off because of more important matters at hand. The question is, why was Naruto able to use the Makidan so early in life? Even the Shodame didn't start using it until he was well into his teens, Jiraiya stated. The Kyuubi maybe, Tsunade guessed. But I can't confirm anything here. I will need to do a full examination of Naruto and Seal when we get back. I wonder if Yondaime sealed the Kyuubi in Naruto-kun because he thought me might be able to use Shodame's power to affect the Biju's chakra? Shizen asked. That is a possibility, Jiraiya answered. Unfortunately, we'll never know for sure. He became thoughtful for a moment, recalling what happened when he first used the Kyuubi's chakra. Now that I think about it, that would explain his ability to use the Kyuubi's chakra without being overwhelmed by it. And now with the necklace, he should have even more control. The Kyuubi's power combined with the Shodame's, Tsunade said. Looks like Naruto has become more of a target than you first thought, Jiraiya. He'll need to be trained in how to fully use his abilities. Looks like I'll have some help in training him, Jiraiya stated. And to think I first took him on just because I saw the potential for him to be just like me. He realized the error in his words when he saw Shizen frown at him and Tsunade start to crack her knuckles. Jiraiya, Tsunade said with clenched teeth, you had better not try and turn him into a pervert. Jiraiya jumped back, waving his hands in placating gesture. No, I wouldn't think anything of that. I was just saying he could be the next Kaoru-sennin is all. The two kunoichi looked at one another, then back at Jiraiya. Their gaze became harder, clearly indicating that they did not believe him. Knowing that he would get a severe beating unless he changed the subject quickly, Jiraiya said, we should all turn in. The longer we're out in the open, the greater the chance someone might come after Naruto. I doubt Orochimaru is willing to give up on targeting him. Tsunade continued to glare at Jiraiya for another 10 seconds before nodding in agreement. She knew he was just trying to change the subject to avoid pain, but he did have a point. Yeah, we should get some sleep. Jiraiya let a breath of relief escape as Tsunade went into her room. Just before she entered the room, she turned back to her old teammate. Oh, and Jiraiya, don't let me catch trying to peep at any women, or I'll remove what defines a man from your body. Jiraiya visibly flinched at the threat. There goes my recreation for the trip back. It was too bad Jiraiya said this out loud and that he forgot Shizen was still standing next to him. A smack to his face was good reminder, however, as Shizen stomped off to her room, giving him a similar warning. The next day, Naruto, Shizen with Tonton, and Tsunade were waiting outside the hotel for Jiraiya. When they informed the front desk they were checking out and asked where their fourth member was, the clerk told them that Jiraiya had left just after sunup. He made a comment that Jiraiya had an unusual grin on his face as he left, following a pair of attractive ladies out of the hotel. It was easy to see what Jiraiya was doing while they were waiting. So who should go get Ero-sennin? Naruto asked. Don't bother, Bran, I'm right here. Jiraiya came up to them. He had 2 slap marks on his face, showing the result of another failed attempt to get a date. Serves you right, Ero-sennin, Naruto said, pointing at the marks. Stop calling me that, Jiraiya shouted. Well, anyway, let's get going. He walked away quickly because of the killing intent radiating off of Tsunade. He did not want to test the validity of Tsunade's threat from last night. After they left the city, Shizen decided to start up a conversation with Naruto about his newly revealed powers. Naruto-kun? She said, drawing his attention to her. You said that you looked at Shodame's jutsu scrolls when you were younger. How many of Shodame's jutsus do you know? Only 3, Naruto answered. Makidan, Kita Kanazuki, Branch Hammer, Makidan, Saicho, Growth, and you of course Makidan, Kita Shibaru. Those were only his most basic jutsus, Tsunade said. Let me guess you can't do any others because of your problems with chakra control. Naruto nodded in confirmation. Not surprising, my Ojaizen's more advanced jutsus require pretty good control. It ran in our family, actually. In fact, that's where I got my natural control. If you want to learn those jutsus, you're going to have to really work hard on your chakra control, brat, Jiraiya said, joining in. Though it shouldn't be as much of a problem now. Why is that arrow Sennin? Naruto asked. Jiraiya's eye twitched at Naruto using the nickname once again. The necklace is the reason, Tsunade answered. One of the Shodame's powers was the ability to affect a Biju's chakra. Combined with the special properties of that stone, it can control wild nature of the Kyuubi's chakra. Of course, you'll have to learn how to use the ability first to gain better control. Hey, can I start now? Naruto was excited with the prospect. He, like everyone in Konoha, knew the Shodame's personal jutsus were very powerful. And if there was one thing Naruto enjoys as much as ramen, it would be learning powerful jutsus. Sorry, Naruto, Tsunade said. Know the right way to train in that. You'll have to learn from the scrolls when he get back. Naruto frowned in disappointment and started to pout about the unfairness of the world. This caused the women to giggle, thinking it was cute, and Jiraiya to smirk in amusement. The rest of the journey passed quickly and quietly, well, as quietly as you could with Naruto in the group. And within only a couple of days they were approaching Konoha once again. Naruto, Tsunade spoke up suddenly. For now, do not show anyone that you can use Makidan jutsus. Naruto frowned. He was hopping to show Sakura and Sasuke, after Tsunade healed him, that is, his hidden powers. After everything gets settled, we'll set up a training schedule so that you can learn more of the Shodame's jutsus. Okay, Tsunade-abakan, Naruto replied, causing Tsunade's eye to twitch. The trio of adults had learned on their journey that Naruto had a tendency to give the people he cared about nicknames on how he saw them forming a surrogate family. Shizen, an older sister, Iruka the teacher, Tsunade an aunt, Jiraiya the perverted uncle that no one talks about, and so on. In a way it was rather endearing, but in other ways it was rather irritating. Tsunade did like to be called old, and Jiraiya did not like to be called a pervert in public because of the beatings women would give him. So they tolerated the nicknames even though they did not like them. At Konoha Hospital, a certain pink-haired genin was paying her daily visit to her hospitalized crush. She had come to see Sasuke every day since Gai-sensei brought him back. When she asked what happened, Gai gave a brief explanation and assured her that Naruto and a new sensei of his were bringing back someone that could not only heal her teammates, but also his student Lee. She was happy for the news that help would arrive, but as the days turned into weeks she became depressed, wondering how long it would take. Just as she finished replacing her flower and throwing Ino's away, she heard a commotion outside the door. When the door opened, she was surprised to see the familiar orange-clad genin dragging some woman through the door. He's this way, hurry up and heal him. Naruto, stop bothering that poor woman, Sakura chastised. Naruto turned to Sakura with a smile on his face. Hey Sakura-chan, you can stop worrying. He gestured to Tsunade. She's a great doctor, she'll fix him and Kakashi-sensei up in no time. Tsunade walked over to the comatose Uchiha and placed a green glowing hand on his head. Turning to the perplexed Sakura, she smiled. He'll be alright now. She then removed her hand, and no sooner than she did than Sasuke's eyes opened. Sasuke-kun! Sakura cried as she lunged at Sasuke, embracing him in a powerful hug. Naruto observed the interplay between his crush and hers with sad eyes. Quietly he stepped out of the room, not wanting to get in the way. Tsunade watched Naruto as he left. Looks like Naruto is more sensitive than I thought, she said silently. Once she was out in the hall, Naruto was back to his usual self and began dragging her to heal Kakashi. When they arrived, Tsunade immediately revived the son of the White Fan, but not without saying, 2 people did this to you, some genius. Naruto, seeing his sensei recovered, decided to leave and visit his team. As he left, Tsunade spoke up, and remember Naruto, don't tell anyone. Naruto stopped and gave a nod before leaving. After his loudest student left, Kakashi asked, what was that about, Tsunade-sama? Some new developments about Naruto have come into light recently that you need to be aware of, Tsunade answered. Kakashi could only sit up in his seat in confusion, wondering if anything bad happened to his student while he was out of the village. 3 days had passed since Naruto brought Tsunade back to Konoha to be the Godame Hokage. In that time she had been extremely busy. First she had to inform Kakashi about Naruto's hidden abilities, then she had to break the news to Guy that his student Rock Lee may never be a shinobi again. She had to arrange training for Naruto from the one person that could help, and finally she had to oversee the results of the recent Chunin exam. All in all, she was already starting to regret taking the position of Hokage. Currently she was talking with the judges of the final part of the Chunin exam, reviewing their decision for who was to get promoted. I agree with the promotion of Nara Shikamaru, Tsunade said. But what I am most interested in is the actions of certain genin during the actual invasion. Because it was technically a time of war, a field promotion can be given. You are referring to the genins that chased after Sabaka no Gara and his teammates, correct? One of the Chunin asked. Not counting Nara Shikamaru, there were 4 genins that followed the trio: Uchiha Sasuke, Haruno Sakura, Uzumaki Naruto, and Aburame Shino. Yes, I know the result of the fights, Tsunade said. Naruto had described in detail what had happened during his fight with Gaara. At first she thought he was exaggerating as he seemed to have a tendency to do, but Jiraiya had confirmed Naruto's telling from listening to one of his summons. Apparently Gamabunta and his son Gamakichi were telling stories about their latest summoner, and the battle with the Shikaku. What I wish to know is, do you think any one of them deserved the rank of Chunin? From what his fellow Genin said about Aburaim Shino, he would be the only one that should get a promotion from that fight, the Chunin said. Unfortunately, because no Chunin or Jounin witnessed his battle with Sabaku no Kankuro, we cannot give him the rank of Chunin. The regulations state that in a field promotion at least one Chunin or Jounin must be a witness. Tsunade sighed. The Chunin was right about the regulations, so she had no choice to deny Shino's promotion even if Konoha could use another Chunin. Alright, it's agreed. Only Nara Shikamaru will receive the promotion to Chunin. Good day, Hokage-sama. The Chunin stood and bowed, then left the office. A knock on her door indicated that Tsunade had another visitor wanting to see her. Who is it this time, Shizun? It the one you sent for Tsunade-sama, her assistant answered. Shizun stepped aside and an Umbu captain entered the office. You wish to summon me, Tsunade-sama? The Umbu asked. Yes, Tsunade answered. I have a mission for you that only you can accomplish. Kakashi was at the usual spot he went to when he wanted to think, the memorial for shinobi killed in action. He had been spending his time here just about every waking moment after Tsunade had told him about Naruto's ability to use the Makidan, wood element. It was news that caught him totally by surprise, never imagining his loudest student had such a powerful bloodline. He was not really sure if he could call it a bloodline limit, but it was the only thing he could come up with at the moment. In reality, Naruto's ability to use wood was similar to his ability to use the Sharingan. It was a part of him, but the ultimate source was artificial. The real problem was he had no idea how to approach Naruto with this. The truth was Kakashi had nothing to really contribute to his training anymore. Only one person could really help Naruto with learning the Shodame's jutsus, and Jiraiya had already taken Naruto under his wing. The report about the fight between Gaara and Naruto was proof that Naruto had grown much farther than he would have if Kakashi had trained him. Imagine a genin being able to summon a boss summon in order to fight the equivalent of another. The news came as a slap in the face over the inadequacies he had as a sensei when the student he taught personally failed, and the one he brushed aside succeeded. He looked up at the Hokage monument, focusing on the fourth face. So what do I do, no sensei? You always seem to have the right answers when we were stuck on something. For now you can either move over or actually go on that mission you received an hour ago, a female voice said. A woman in an Umbu uniform came up to the memorial. Yugeo, Kakashi greeted. You've been spending a lot of time here. The same can be said about you, Kakashi, Yugeo returned. I'm only here to pay my respects to a departed friend. I come to pay my respects to the past, not hide from the present and future. Without another word, she walked up to the memorial and said a small prayer in silence, then left, but not before saying, You really should get on that mission. I hear that the new Hokage has quite a temper when it comes to lateness. And then there is her open dislike for your favorite book. Kakashi looked worried and patted his pouch to make sure his book was still present. Looks like you're twice as unlucky as with your habits this time, Kakashi. Sakura was wandering through the village for once, not looking for her crush Sasuke. She was in fact looking for her other teammate Naruto. After the finals, she had thanked Sasuke for saving her from Gaara, for, in her mind, only the Uchiha genius could have saved her from that monster. However, that was shot down when Sasuke had informed her that it was Naruto that rescued her. She had actually meant to thank him but got distracted by the amusing sight of the blonde trying to learn Chidori. Then when she tried to thank him later, she found out that he went on mission with someone. Which was very odd, for Genin very seldom went on missions without their assigned teams. Just one more reason she wanted to find Naruto. It seemed he was changing faster than anyone could have guessed before the Chunin exam. She continued to walk when she caught sight of a depressed-looking Lee just staggering around with his crutch. This caught her by surprise because just a few days ago she saw him training his non-injured limbs with more enthusiasm and determination she had ever seen in anyone, except for maybe Naruto. To see the Genin like this was a rather disturbing sight. Lee-san, are you alright? Sakura asked. The usually overexcitable Genin gave her a sad frown for a brief moment, then a smile came to his face at the idea of talking to Sakura. Oh, I'm fine, Sakura-chan, Lee said. He was lying, though he was actually very upset. He had been told by one of, if not the greatest medical nins in the world, that he no chance at continuing his life as a shinobi, something that meant absolutely everything to him. To come as far as he did with such a handicap as great as his and then have it taken away was very devastating. But the absolute last thing he wanted was to upset anyone, so he put on a happy face whenever he was not alone. So what are you doing here, Sakura-chan? Oh, I was just taking a walk, that's all, Sakura said. I guess I can tell Naruto thank you later. Lee looks like he could use a friend. It was rather odd thing about Sakura. She could see behind false fronts rather well in everyone else but her team. She could tell that Lee was feeling down and thought she could bring his spirits up. Care to join me? Lee actually liked that idea. H had never been one that would wallow in self-pity, and taking a walk with her would at least distract him from his problems for a little while. I would love to, Sakura-chan. Sakura actually gave him a small smile as she could tell she had genuinely cheered him up. Naruto was off in the forest practicing the Makidan, Saicho, growth. This was actually the base for all of the Shodame's jutsu, and consent practice helped in learning all the other jutsus. Thus he was constantly practicing this jutsu in preparation for his new training in the rest of Shodame's jutsus. Makidan, Saicho was a jutsu that did just what is said. It stimulated the growth of the plants around the person using the jutsu. In this case, a tree that was about 5 meters high. While it was not all that impressive compared to the rest of the trees in and around Konoha, it was impressive in that it was just over a year old. Naruto had planted and growing this tree with the jutsu for nearly a year now. He stepped back from the tree and inspected its growth. Not bad, Naruto said. All this extra training and chakra control is really paying off. He then grabbed the pendant that Tsunade gave him on the return trip. I wonder if this has anything to do it. Abakin was right, my control has gotten better since I put it on. After taking a look at the tree, satisfied with the results, he decided to change his training tactics. Well, that's enough creating, now let's do some destroying. He then looked around, just not here. He never really did like destroying the trees, not since he could make them. He felt it was like destroying a part of himself. Back in Tsunade's office, she had just going over the details on Naruto with the Umbu that she summoned. The Umbu, who still had his mask on, let out a sigh of relief. Because she also lived through Orochimaru's experiments, Minako was like a sister to me. I was on an extended mission when the Kyuubi attacked, and the Sandame told me that she and her child were killed. I'm glad that at least a part of her remains. Yamato, do you know who might be Naruto's father? Tsunade asked. She had been wondering about Naruto's father ever since she got back. By his looks, one might guess he could be related to Yandame, but then again the same could be said of the Yamanaka family as well. She could order a blood test and compare the records, but that could take weeks to months before she found out anything. Yamato and Minako were close, so if anyone could narrow her search, he could. I'm afraid not, Yamato sighed. She never said anything about whom got her pregnant. Because these things happen while on long missions, no one questioned her about it. Tsunade understood exactly what Yamato was saying. On very long and often dangerous missions, emotions often become very intense that lead to acts that a person would not normally take. And because of this, it was not unheard of that a kunoichi might become pregnant out of wedlock. There was no shame in it because it was just one of the aspects of the lives they led. What surprises me is that Sandame never told me about Naruto. I wonder what his motivation for keeping the information a secret was. Sarutobi-sensei never did anything without his reasons, Tsunade said. I'll probably be looking through his private journals for the next few weeks. There are a lot of questions that have come up and very few answers. She glanced at the clock, noting it was getting late in the afternoon, and she still had other important tasks that needed to be done. You should tell your squad that you'll be on temporary reassignment for the next couple of months. Also have the Umbu commander replace your position in the squad. I have to get some more work done. You mean trying to find a way to help that kid Rock Lee? Yamato asked. He did not need to hear an answer. Tsunade's pause was enough of a confirmation. I hope you can help him. I've seen him training every now and then. He has the drive to become great. It would be a shame to lose him. Jiraiya was once again doing what he did best, gathering information. Whether it was inspiration for his new book or checking on various threats to Konoha, there was no one better. Right now, he was looking for information on his new book, meaning he was peeping into the female side of the hot springs, again. The problem that often got Jiraiya in trouble was that when he was watching gorgeous women take a soak, his normally alert senses became severely dulled. And just as his luck would have it, a woman with a bust almost the size of Tsunade's just walked into the spring. This was bad because someone, a certain blonde genin that had a reputation for being very loud, just happened to walk by and hear Jiraiya's perverted giggle as he thought of his new scene for Ika Ika Paradise Volume 4. Said blonde was wondering where the giggle was coming from and soon found the source. What the hell do you think you're doing, you pervert? Jiraiya froze while the women in the spring screamed at the yell. Normally he would have turned and punished someone for interrupting his data gathering like he did with Ebisu when he first met Naruto. This time he was panicking because he knew the source of the voice. Well, not the individual person but the general source in terms of gender. Turning ever so slowly, his eyes confirmed what his ears already told his brain. A girl with blonde hair and bluish-green eyes about Naruto's age was standing there looking very angry while reaching into a kunai in order to give Jiraiya a new orifice in his body. Well, you see, Jiraiya tried to explain, but he cut short when several other females that heard the shout about a pervert soon joined the girl. Jiraiya knew it was time to make a very fast exit right then. After 10 minutes of hard chasing after some white-haired pervert, Yamanaka Ino was becoming very tired. She was the only shinobi in the group of women, so at this point she was the only one still in the chase. And with the adrenaline fueled by her anger wearing off, she was becoming fatigued quickly. After the pervert she was chasing made another disappearing act, and she lost sight of him, Ino decided to stop and catch her breath. Much of her anger was still enough to want to find and punish the pervert, but not enough to ignore the burning in her legs. Damn, I need to train more, she fumed. I can't even catch one old pervert, no wonder I didn't before, head girl. Raisin Gan! A yell from close by followed by a very loud explosion interrupted Ino's thoughts. What the hell was that? She asked, surprised. Being a kunoichi, it was her duty to investigate disturbances in and around Konoha if she came across one, especially with the recent Suna and Oto invasion. As a genin, all she had to do was find the general location of the disturbance and tell a higher-ranked shinobi. However, the explosion was not building her confidence level at all. Damn it! A familiar shout came from the direction of the explosion and previous shout. I still can't do it one-handed. That sounds like Naruto, Ino thought. What's he doing out here? When Ino had paused in her pursuit of the white-haired pervert, she had taken note of just where she was. She found herself at the edge of where one of the forest training grounds ended and one of the rocky ones began. It was very far from Team 7's normal training ground, so to hear Naruto's voice was very surprising. No longer worried about the danger of facing an enemy, she decided to see what was going on. When she came out of the tree line, she found a rocky area littered with craters with Naruto laying down next to one covered in bits of rock. Okay, one more time, Naruto said. Ino watched curiously as Naruto held out his hand, palm up, seeming to concentrate on it. Another couple of seconds she was surprised when a swirling mass of chakra formed in his hand. Could he be trying to learn what Sasuke-kun did during the Chunin exam? Ino thought. Before the Chunin exam, Ino would have never thought Naruto could perform such a powerful jutsu. After witnessing his defeat of Hyuga Niji, she was willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. Asuma-sensei did say it was a jutsu made on almost pure chakra, she muttered. Now what did call it? She thought for a second. Oh yeah, he called it Chidori. Is Naruto trying to learn Chidori? The chakra in Naruto's hand formed into a rough sphere shape just before he dashed towards a boulder that was as of yet undamaged. When he was close enough, he thrust the ball of chakra into the boulder, Rasengan. The result was another explosion with Naruto flying back with pebbles hitting all over his body. After lying there panting, Naruto said, still not right. Rasengan? Ino whispered. Guess he's not learning Chidori. Now that she thought about it, there were significant differences in what Sasuke did and what Naruto was doing. The Chidori tended to arc like electricity. Naruto's Rasengan looked like a swirling ball of wind. Wanting to find out what he was doing, Ino moved closer to the still-down boy. Hey Naruto, was what that you just did? Huh. Oh hi, that was my newest jutsu, Naruto answered. And it's way better than Sasuke team's Chidori. Not liking Sasuke being called names, Ino's anger rose. Don't call Sasuke-kun that. And besides, this jutsu doesn't look all that impressive to me. It looks like it blew you up more than the boulder. That's just because I'm doing it one-handed, Naruto countered. Yeah right. I bet you would blow yourself up even more if you used both hands, Ino retorted. Naruto frowned because Ino was actually right in that. Without his Kagebushin, shadow clone, to back up his own hand, he could not get enough pressure to hold the sphere. With just one hand, he had just enough pressure that would result in an increase the backlash of the jutsu. On the plus side for Naruto, he learned all he needed was a Kagebushin to perform the jutsu, freeing up one hand to block an incoming attack. Right now, he was working on performing Rasengan without any aids, so it would be the proper version he saw Jiraiya do. Ha, I'll show you, Naruto said, jumping to his feet. He liked showing off and hated to be told what he should and not be able to do. Now he had a chance to show off and prove someone's conception about him wrong, two of his favorite things in the world. Kagebushin no Jutsu. I've seen this one, Ino smirked. Shut up and watch, Naruto yelled as his clone worked to stabilize the forming ball. After only a couple of moments, the ball completely formed and Naruto dashed off to another boulder. Rasengan. The ball drilled into the boulder, driving it back several meters before it finally exploded into several thousand small rocks. So what do you think of my latest jutsu now? Wow, Ino said, dumbfounded. She had to admit that was probably one of the most impressive jutsus she had ever seen, including Sasuke's Chidori. She just had to know how Naruto learned such a powerful jutsu. Hey, tell me where you learned that. With Naruto always wanting attention and praise from others, was more than happy to tell Ino about his mission to look for Tsunade, even though he did leave out certain parts like the fight involving Kabuto and the sentence. The reason was because the Sandaime Hokage's death was still a sour subject for everyone, especially his age group, because everyone viewed the old man a loving grandparent. Telling Ino about his killer would have upset the blonde Kuniochi. And so I won the bet and Tsunade Bakon had to give me this, Naruto said, holding up the necklace. After inspecting the necklace and determining that it had to be worth a fortune, she bopped Naruto on the head. You shouldn't talk about Hokage-sama like that, Ino berated. And I can't believe you learned from such a blatant pervert. Naruto had not pulled any punches when describing Jiraiya. Also, from Naruto's description of his, she determined that Jiraiya was the old man she was chasing after just before she found Naruto. You said he helped train you for the finals. What did this Jiraiya teach you then? Well, first he taught to walk on water, and then he taught me Kuchio's no jutsu, summoning, Naruto answered. Again she was impressed. Water walking was actually an upper genin low chunin chakra control exercise, and learning how to summon properly was rather difficult because it required a lot of power and pretty precise control. Who would have ever thought Naruto would become so strong? Ino thought. So what do you summon? I summon toads, Naruto said proudly. I hate toad, Ino complained. Naruto looked indignant at Ino's reaction. I'll have you know the Yondaime Hokage summoned toads as well, Naruto said. And because he came up with Rasengan, you can say I'm just like him. I seriously doubt you're like the strongest Hokage there's been, Ino said at the proclamation. I will give you this, you've grown a lot more than I think you would have. Naruto would have frowned at jab about him not being like the Yondaime, but Ino had acknowledged the fact that he had become strong, and that was good enough for him. A growl of his stomach changed the subject of the conversation. Rubbing the back of his head with a fox-like smile, he said, Guess it's time to eat. Want to come to Ichiruka with me? Naruto always liked inviting his friends to his favorite restaurant, and Ino had just become his newest friend. Ino would have declined if her stomach had not joined Naruto's after the invitation. With a slight blush from embarrassment, she said, I guess I'm hungry too, so sure. Tsunade had been working nonstop to raise the chances of Lee surviving the operation needed to restore him to full health. What she had in mind was inspired from what she observed Kabuto was able to do in his fight against Naruto. The way Kabuto used his chakra to regenerate his cells in a focused area was very impressive. If she could duplicate the effect, she could raise Lee's survival enough to where it would be worth the risk of the operation. After nearly 3 days of constant research, she formulated a plan to accomplish just that. Now all she had to do was inform Lee and Guy. She found the pair at the top of the Hokage monument looking over the village. She could see the pair were depressed. She could not help but feel better that the news she was about to give them would cheer them up. Guy, Lee, I have some important news I must inform you of, she spoke with a serious voice. And what would that be, Tsunade-sama? Guy asked. His tone was guarded. He was afraid that Tsunade would remove Lee's status as a shinobi for medical reasons. It was a valid reason, and Tsunade was the best to make that determination. Still, he knew that it would probably kill Lee if he was forced to give up his dream. I have been doing research on your injuries, Lee, Tsunade said. I have found a way to increase the chances of your survival to 50%. It is enough that I am willing to risk the operation, but it must be your decision. Tsunade inwardly smiled at the silence of the pair. There were very few situations that could silence them. Tsunade-sama, do you mean you can cure Lee? Guy asked. His voice low with disbelief, yet holding high hopes at the same time. A 50% chance of curing him, Tsunade repeated. The risk is still great, but I am willing to perform the operation if you are willing to endure it. Lee came out of his shock, and with a quiet voice he spoke. My whole life I wanted to prove that I could be strong without ninjutsu or genjutsu. To prove everyone that looked down on me wrong was my dream, it meant everything to me. His voice rose and was filled with determination. I want the operation, and I will prove to everyone that you can be a great shinobi with just taijutsu. While Seicho, like the phoenix, your youthful flames shall raise once again and burn even brighter, Guy exclaimed. Guy-sensei. Lee. Liao Jiaonan and Genin descended into their normal display of affection that would normally cause a person to be very creeped out. But this time it was a sign that they were once again back at their normally overly jubilant selves. The current generation is strong, sensei, Tsunade thought. I think they could be the strongest Konoha has had in a long time. In the forest training ground where Naruto had his tree, he was meeting with his newest sensei, Yamato. Naruto met the man yesterday, and for both it was a rather awkward meeting. Yamato was unsure how to approach the only child of his fellow survivor, and Naruto was unsure how to react to Yamato's staring. Yamato spent 5 minutes just silently watching the genin, trying to see anything recognizable in his features. Naruto, not used to having someone look at him like Yamato did, waited silently. He had no idea how to react to this look. Hate he knew to ignore, disappointment he knew to push harder, disregard he knew to yell at, but silent curiosity he had no idea. After that 5 minutes, Yamato was able to find one feature that reminded him of Minako, Naruto's eyes. Blue eyes were not uncommon in Konoha, but only one person besides Naruto had eyes as pure blue as his, and that was Minako. After that, Yamato informed Naruto who he was and what he was going to teach him. Naruto became excited and eagerly asked when they would start. They started that day with Yamato testing Naruto's abilities. The Umbu captain was not impressed but not disappointed either. Naruto performed just as he expected him to do, just like himself, when he was learning the Shodame's jutsus. There was nothing wrong with this because the Shodame's jutsus were very complex and took a lot to learn, especially without someone to act as a guide. When the day ended, Yamato said he would teach Naruto the next jutsu of the Shodame tomorrow, and that brought Naruto to now. "Where is he?" Naruto asked out loud. "I hope he's not like Kakashi-sensei and always late." Normally, being compared to Kakashi-senpai would be welcome, Yamato said from a tree branch above Naruto, but when it comes his chronic tardiness, it is a great insult. "As sorry, Yamato-sensei," Naruto apologized. "I just don't like that he's always so late." Yamato just waved off the apology. "Are you ready for the jutsu I said I would show you?" "You bet I am." Naruto was literally bouncing, wanting to learn a new jutsu. He could only imagine what it could be. The Shodame scrolls showed that the jutsus could do anything from creating a small forest, to creating a bushin made of wood, to even merging into a tree for spying. "I know that you like to use Kage Bushin," Yamato began. Naruto smiled in anticipation as he caught on what the Umbu captain was going to teach him. "So I think you can fully appreciate being able to use another type, one only you and I can use." Yamato paused for dramatic effect. He was a bit of a dramatic side to his personality. So he intentionally drew out what jutsu he was going to teach Naruto. The Mokusei Bushin, wooden clone. "So what can the Mokusei Bushin do that other Bushins can't?" Naruto asked. He knew a Kage Bushin could act independently. It was solid, had a range of several kilometers and distributed chakra equally. Its weakness was that it could only take one hit before it was defeated. A Mizu Bushin, water clone, was solid as well, could take a few blows before being defeated, and were easy to make as long as there was plenty of water around. Its weakness was they were 1/10 the original strength and limited range. A regular Bushin was just an illusion, nothing more. The Mizuko Bushin is made of wood and needs a supply of wood nearby to form. You can only form a handful regardless of how much chakra you use, Yamato lectured. Those are its primary weaknesses. Its strength is that it is very difficult to defeat and destroy, has the same range and independence of a Kage Bushin, and can perform limited Makidan, wood type, jutsus itself. "Cool!" Naruto exclaimed. "Come show me." "Alright, calm down," Yamato said. "Watch closely. The hand seals are Tora, tiger, Inu, dog, Ryu, dragon, Tora, Tori, bird. Mokusei Bushin no Jutsu." From a large tree nearby, a human form slowly emerged from the trunk. It quickly took the shape of Yamato, and then the color changed to match Yamato's appearance preciously. "Now you try." Naruto nodded and performed the hand seals, Mokusei Bushin no Jutsu. A leg and arm started to appear out of another tree, but after they passed the knee and elbow, the two limbs stopped forming, started to decay, and fell away from the tree like a dead branch. "This is going to take a while," Yamato said with a sweat drop on the back of his head. At Konoha Hospital, Sakura was once again paying a visit to Sasuke, who was still recovering. As she approached the room, she saw Ino coming out of a room down the hall. Knowing that was not Sasuke's room, she wondered what Ino was doing in there. "Ino Pig, what are you doing here?" "Well, forehead girl, I came to visit Chuji and Sasuke-kun," Ino answered. "Chuji?" Sakura asked. "Was he injured during training or something?" "No, nothing like that," Ino waved off Sakura's concern. "He just ate too much again." She let out a sigh at the last part because no matter what, she was sure Chuji would be here again for the same reason. Deciding to change the subject, Ino asked, "So has Naruto shown you his new jutsu yet?" "New jutsu?" Sakura asked. "Oh, you mean his summon?" "Yeah, he showed me. Not really all that impressive. All he did was summon this obnoxious red toad that could only weigh a couple of kilos." Sakura shuddered at the thought of the toad. She never really liked them. "Oh no, I don't mean that. I mean the one he learned when he left the village a few months ago," Ino corrected. No, he hasn't," Sakura admitted. Truth be told, she had seen the other male member of Team 7 in days, not since Sasuke was healed by Tsunade. "Just how did you find out that he had a new jutsu?" "I saw him practicing it," Ino answered. "You should see it, it's really powerful." Inside his room, Sasuke was overhearing the conversation from the two girls. His attention was epically caught when Ino mentioned Naruto having a new powerful jutsu. How can Naruto keep getting so strong? Sasuke thought. The memory of the fight against Gaara and the insane amount of power Naruto displayed came to the forefront. And now he appears to have another powerful jutsu. He clenched his fist in anger at the thought of Naruto being stronger than he was. "I have to be stronger," Back in the forest, Naruto was panting as he leaned against the tree. He had been working like a man possessed to learn the jutsu. All around him there were pieces of rotted wood laid about from his unsuccessful attempts. Yamato had to admit he was impressed by the boy's determination to learn the jutsu. Most would have become frustrated and given up after so many failures. Naruto just seemed to push himself more every time he messed up. That's enough for now, Naruto. Your chakra is too low to use the jutsu, Yamato said. He can still go on, Naruto panted. He did the hand seals once again. Only this time, instead of feeling his chakra pass through his body, he felt the Kyuubi's Mokusei Bushin no Jutsu. Yamato felt the Kyuubi's chakra flow just before called out the jutsu. He was ready to intervene in case the chakra overwhelmed him, but that never happened. Instead, he saw 2 pairs of arms and legs come out of one of the larger trees in the area. Soon 2 torsos emerged, followed by 2 heads that looked like Naruto. The colors changed and 2 exact duplicates of Naruto were standing in front of Yamato. Well done, Naruto, Yamato. Yes, I did it, one of the Mokusei Bushin said. No, you didn't. I did. The original Naruto did. I thought I did it, the second Mokusei said. Yamato developed a sweat drop as Naruto and the duplicates started to get into an argument about which was the real one and did the jutsu. Naruto, Yamato called. Yes, sensei, the 3 answered. Why don't you dismiss the Bushins and that should solve the disagreement, Yamato instructed. Naruto complied and the 2 Bushins decayed like old branches and broke apart. I think this is enough for a while. Later this week, after you've had a chance to rest, I'll show you the next jutsu that will grow a tree to the right size for the Bushins. It's actually a combination jutsu of the Saicho and the Mokusei Bushin. It will grow a tree that will immediately turn into the Bushin. It requires a lot more control, so you'll have to work on that. But practicing the Saicho jutsu will help that, so keep at it. Thanks, Yamato-sensei, I'll see you later. Naruto waved as he ran off. After all that, he still has the energy to run off like that? Yamato wondered. Guess that's the stamina Tsunade-sama told me about. He could not help but smile at Naruto's enthusiasm. The next day, Naruto was feeling just as energetic as he usually did after a night of rest. He had not seen any of his teammates in the last few days, so he headed for the hospital to find them. Walking up to the entrance, he spotted Sakura about to enter. Good morning, Sakura-chan. Oh, hello, Naruto, Sakura greeted. She did not yell at him this morning because he was not interrupting her talking to Sasuke, and she was trying to be nice to him because he saved her from Gaara. She still had yet to thank him and planned to do it now. What are you doing here? I'm here to see you and Sasuke, Naruto said. I wanted to see how the team was doing. Don't call Sasuke-kun that, Sakura yelled. Her desire to defend her crush overriding her previous plan to thank Naruto for saving her. Well, let's go see how he's doing, Naruto suggested, not wanting to get hit by an irate Sakura. Sakura turned and entered the hospital without another word, showing she was going to ignore Naruto for his comment. As soon as Naruto and Sakura entered Sasuke's room, Sakura greeted him and started talking about how soon he would get out of there. Sasuke, for his part, was not paying attention as his sole focus was on Naruto. Naruto, he said, shutting Sakura up, fight me, right now. Sasuke-kun, you can't, you're still not better, Sakura objected. Sakura-chan's right, you're not, Naruto agreed, but was cut off by Sasuke. You said you wanted to fight me in the Chunin exam, now's your chance, Sasuke countered. Naruto could tell that Sasuke was not going to back down. And to be honest, Naruto wanted to fight Sasuke as well, so he agreed, you're on. They picked the roof, not wanting to put the fight off any longer. Before they started, Naruto said, funny isn't it? I'm actually overjoyed that I finally have a chance to defeat you. Sasuke's Sharingan flared into existence because of his anger at Naruto's proclamation. What did you say? Sasuke asked angrily. You're talking nonsense, Do. I'm no longer the Do you knew, Naruto returned. I've changed a lot. You're certainly full of yourself, Sasuke said. You're not acting like yourself, Naruto prodded. Afraid you'll get a challenge out of me? Shut up and fight, Sasuke yelled. Before we do, put on your Hitaite forehead protector, Naruto instructed. Why should I do that? Sasuke asked. You won't even land a single finger on my forehead. It's not about that, Naruto said. It's a symbol of us being equal as Konoha shinobi. That's why you're so full of yourself, Sasuke yelled. You think you're on par with me? Of course I do, Naruto yelled back. In fact, I never thought of myself as inferior to you, not once. You're starting to piss me off, Sasuke said. That's because you're still weak, Sasuke-chan, Naruto countered. Both of the anger reached a boiling point, and they charged each other as fast as they could. When they reached one another, both punched and caught the other's hand and exchanged in a brief contest of strength, trying to push the other back. It became apparent that both were equal, as neither lost ground, so they broke apart and jumped back. Naruto was the one that decided to start using jutsus first. Taju Kagebushin no Jutsu. Mass Shadow Clone. Soon the entire roof of the hospital was covered in Kagebushins, and they all started to attack the Uchiha. Sasuke was not threatened and began taking the clones apart with Gukken, Iron Fist. He spun and kicked the first clone that approached, sending it into 3 others, taking them out. Another pair came in, but Sasuke was able to predict what they were doing because of the Sharingan. He countered their attack by doing a handstand and spinning his feet like a helicopter propeller, destroying them and 5 others. This continued for 10 seconds until one Kagebushin got behind Sasuke and stunned him long enough for 4 others to kick him into the air. Uzumaki, the clones began trying to catch Sasuke in the combo. Naruto Rendan. Combo. Sasuke was able to block the final blow and send the Kagebushin down to the roof. He quickly formed hand seals ending in the Tora seal, Katan, Kukaki no Jutsu. The massive ball of fire shot down at the mass of Kagebushins, destroying them instantly. When the smoke cleared, there was 2 Narutos left. One had his palm up and the other was forming a ball in the palm. This must be his new jutsu, Sasuke thought. He was surprised that even though he could see the chakra moving, he was not able to copy the jutsu at all. Damn! He grabbed his wrist and chakra began to arc like lightning. Chidori. Naruto had finished forming his jutsu right before Sasuke started Chidori. He jumped into the air as Sasuke fell, thrusting his palm forward. Rasengan. The 2 genins were moving right towards each other and were going to hit. Sakura, who had been stunned up to this point, yelled out, "Stop it!" She ran in between the 2 boys trying to stop them. "Can't move out of the way!" Both Sasuke and Naruto thought at the same time. Fortunately for them, they did not have to, as Kakashi dashed in front of Sakura, caught their wrists, spun and threw them at the pair of water towers on the roof. Sasuke's Chidori plunged into his tower, creating a large hole. Naruto's Rasengan collided with the other tower, producing a small dent a little bigger than his palm. Sasuke saw this and smirked, not as strong as he thought. Kakashi had noticed Naruto's jutsu as it hit the water tower. He knows Rasengan. He thought. What do you 2 think you're doing? You're fighting in a too extreme way, both of you. He focused approached Sasuke and leapt up onto his tower. Sasuke, I did not give you the Chidori to use against your companions, especially those from Konoha. Sasuke just scowled at Kakashi, who asked, Are you trying to kill Naruto? Sasuke did not answer. Instead, he jumped off the roof onto roof next to the hospital. When he landed and looked up, what he saw shocked him. The entire backside of the water tower Naruto hit was completely blown out. Naruto's jutsu did that? He was awed by the power and the implication the scene before him showed. It demonstrated that Naruto's jutsu did more internal damage than external, making far more lethal than the Chidori. His anger rose once again and he jumped away. When did Naruto become so strong? I suppose you taught Naruto that jutsu? Kakashi asked Jiraiya, who was standing below the water tower. You should not have taught Naruto such an advanced jutsu. Even if it is to protect him from Akatsuki, it's too much for him. The same could be said about you teaching Sasuke Chidori, Jiraiya countered. Besides, who I teach and what I teach is my business, Kakashi, not yours. Naruto is my student, Kakashi argued. Yeah, that's why you got someone else to teach him, Jiraiya said sarcastically. He found me after you dumped him on Ebisu and I decided to train him. It's your own fault that he sought another sensei, for not teaching him. Besides, what Naruto needs to learn now, you can't teach him, and you know it. Kakashi did not like what Jiraiya was saying, but he had no way to argue against either. Everything he said was the cold, honest truth. I have a mission I need to do, Kakashi said, jumping off the tower and landing next to Sakura. Sakura, don't worry, everything will be back to normal now. Sakura whipped her eyes and gave a nod, but on the inside she believed that it could never go back normal now. Truth be told, Kakashi would have agreed with Sakura if he knew her thoughts. Sasuke had just finished working himself into near complete exhaustion. It had been 2 days since the fight with Naruto on the roof of the hospital, and he was still angry. Angry at Naruto for growing so much in such a short time, angry at Kakashi for not training him better, but mostly angry at himself for feeling the inadequacies he was forced to endure, and angry because at the moment he ran into his brother again after so many years there was still such a huge gap between them. After the fight on the roof, Kakashi had tracked Sasuke down, tied him up, and lectured him about giving up on his revenge. Easier said than done, as Sasuke had only lived for revenge ever since the massacre of his clan. He says we're the same, Sasuke thought. What would he know about my pain? The more Sasuke thought about his sensei, the angrier he got. Even with Kakashi's strongest jutsu, he was not strong enough. He can't give me what I need to kill Itachi, but then who can? He then started thinking of Naruto's growth over the time since the beginning of the Chunin exam. He knew that Kakashi was not the one that trained Naruto, the copy Nin was with him the entire time. What he wanted to know was just who had trained Naruto during that time. That white-haired guy, Sasuke concluded. He took Naruto away from the village right after the funeral of the Sandaime. He must have been the one to train him. The question is, who is he? Sasuke remembered the brief confrontation with Itachi at the hotel and focused on the white-haired man's entrance. He said his name was Jiraiya. Why does that feel so familiar? His eyes widened when it finally occurred to him, how could I forget, Jiraiya of the legendary Sannin. That dope got one of the Sannin to train him. If a Sannin made him so strong, then he reached for the curse seal close to the base of his neck on his back. Further thoughts were cut off. Several shuriken flew in his direction. He nimbly jumped out of the way only to be hit by a kick from behind. He easily recovered and landed on a tree nearby. When Sasuke saw that he was now facing 4 enemies and from their Hittites they were from Oto, Sound Village. Remembering that Otonins in the Chunin exam targeted him, he became wary. So this is Uchiha Sasuke, the only girl of the group said. I'm not as impressed as I thought I'd be. Sasuke, still feeling the shame of having so much trouble against Naruto, rushed at the enemies. The exchange was quick and furious. Sasuke, his Sharingan activated, attacked the largest one first, kicking him in the face, sending him crashing into a wall. The one with 6 arms came from Sasuke's right only to have Sasuke dodge in between his 6 arms and deliver a strong punch to the abdomen, making him hunch over. The one that looked to have 2 heads attacked next, and Sasuke dodged the kick and was about to counter when a second pair of arms came out of the body, surprising him. The second set of arms blocked Sasuke's punch and the first set knocked him into the air. From there the girl was able to nick him with several kunai just as the large man, who had recovered, slammed him back down to the tree. Knowing that he needed to move faster, Sasuke started channeling chakra throughout his body. Unfortunately, because of his earlier training, his chakra reserves were low. As a result, the curse seal started to spread. At first Sasuke did not notice and he felt invigorated and continued his attack. With his Sharingan and the curse seal on, he made short work of the 4 Otonins. Or at least that was what it looked like. After kicking the girl into the pile of the other 3, Sasuke was shocked to see all 4 disappear, leaving a log in their place. That was when the curse seal started to burn, forcing Sasuke to drop to his knees. That was better, the voice of the one with 2 heads said. Sasuke struggled to turn around and was surprised again to see them with their own curse seals activated. But it appears that unlike us, you don't have control over your curse seal. We can help you with that. Why would you want to help me after attacking me? Sasuke said after he forced the curse seal back. We were sent by Orochimaru-sama to retrieve you, the one with 6 arms answered. You have impressed us, Sasuke-sama. The 4 then dropped to their knees, showing their submission to Sasuke. We, the Oto 4, decided that if you proved worthy, we would swear our allegiance to you. You showed us your strength and now we pledge ourselves to you, the girl said. We can help you with your curse seal, the 2-headed on spoke again. We can upgrade it to level 2 like ours and it will give you great power. That truly caught Sasuke's attention. After we upgrade your curse seal, we can take you to Orochimaru-sama, and he can give you even greater power. Power, Sasuke thought. That is what I need. Naruto became strong after training under the weakest of the Sannin. I will gain greater power by training under the strongest. At the same time Sasuke was fighting the Oto 4, Naruto was returning from his own training. When he woke up this morning, he found a note and small scroll on his table waiting for him. They were from Yamato. The note explained that he had an urgent mission and could not help him with the training like he said he would. Instead, he left a jutsu scroll of another jutsu Naruto could learn on his own. It was the advanced version of Saicho, growth, called Saicho Ida, growth of the branches. The note went on to explain that this was the first half of the training for the jutsu that would make a Mokusei Bushin, wooden clone, from a plant Naruto produced. The new jutsu provided more wood than Saicho alone could produce, which was fundamental in the Mokusei Bushin. Naruto could use the Saicho Ida and then a Mokusei Bushin from that. The downside to this tactic was that it used more chakra and took greater time. Still, it would work and was useful for Naruto's training. So Naruto spent the entire day working on the jutsu, and had only managed to finally master it an hour ago. He felt proud of himself for his latest success, and not just because it would make him stronger. He felt proud because he finally felt he was starting to live up the potential that was passed down from his mother. Naruto went over to his bed and pushed it aside. Under it he lifted up a loose floorboard and took out a small strong box. After fishing out a small key from inside a hidden pocket in his pant leg, Naruto undid the lock. Inside he took out his most prized possession, a picture of a woman with light brown hair, a pretty face and eyes as blue as his. It was a picture of his mother, the only one he had. It was given to him when he was 7 as a birthday present from the Sandaime. He treasured the only image, the woman that gave him life, that he only brought it out on rare occasion. With a sad smile he spoke, "Are you proud of me, Okasan, mother?" Am I living up to what you thought I could be? Are you happy for what I've done? Obviously, there was no answer, but to Naruto it still felt like he had received a yes for each question. Naruto spent countless hours pondering what his life would have been like if his mother had lived. He wondered how different his life would be if he had someone to come home to. Someone that would make him feel better when he all the glares and hate forced upon him when he was younger. What kind of person he would be now? There was never an answer to those questions. One thing Naruto never did, however, was to dwell on those questions for long at any one time. He knew better than anyone that a person could not live in the past. Naruto knew one never got anywhere by going backwards, so he pushed on every day of his life. In reality, this was what truly separated Naruto from the people he met with painful pasts. Where they would dwell on the pain, he would push forward, growing from the experience, pushing and living for the next day. Making him that much stronger than the people like Sasuke, who only lived in the past instead of in the present and for the future. The next day it was early morning when Tsunade received the disturbing news that 4 Otonins attacked a squad of Jounin and that Uchiha Sasuke was missing. Knowing that Orochimaru wanted the last Uchiha, she could easily conclude that Sasuke was with them. And if what Sakura had said to Shizen when her assistant found her near Team 7's training ground was true, then he went voluntarily. The major dilemma she now faced was who to send after the Otonins. This would be an A-class retrieval mission, and it should go a squad of Anbu or Jounin. Unfortunately for her, there were none available as they were all doing their own missions at this time. Even sending squads of Chunin was not viable because of the state Konoha was in. The option of letting them go was not even considered. Orochimaru must not get his hands of the Sharingan. If he did, the consequences would be dire. That left her with only one option, Genin. And the idea left a very foul taste in her mouth. You wanted to see me, Tsunade-sama? A very bored voice asked, followed by a large yawn. Yes, Nara Shikamaru, I have an A-class mission for you, Tsunade said. Her voice was like iron, causing Shikamaru's normally slouched posture to straighten, knowing this was incredibly serious. Not more than 10 minutes later, Shikamaru was standing outside Naruto's apartment waiting for the loudest shinobi in the village to answer the door. Tsunade briefed him on his situation and told him he had 1 hour to gather as many strong genins as possible and set off in pursuit of the Otonins, try and slow them down until backup could arrive and prevent them from leaving Fire Country. The only request she made in the lineup was to get Naruto on the mission. Shikamaru had to question the wisdom, though he kept it to himself, in bring Naruto. He knew Naruto had become very strong. The match against Neji was proof enough, but Naruto was known for making rash decisions. Something that would be a hindrance on this mission. Still, he had his orders and thus found himself waiting outside Naruto's door. After several moments, Naruto groggily opened his door. Shikamaru, what are you doing here? This is so troublesome, Shikamaru sighed. We have a mission. Sasuke was taken by 4 Otonins and Tsunade-sama has ordered me to get as many strong genins as I could to go after them. What? Came Naruto's predictable loud reply. Sasuke's gone. Hold on, I'll be right out. He slammed his door shut and several noises of crashes and curses followed. After only 10 seconds, Naruto was back out the door, fully clothed with all his supplies ready to do. So who are we taking? Naruto's answer came a few minutes later outside of Chuji's house. Here, Naruto, help me eat this, Shikamaru said, giving Naruto a bag of chips. Naruto was very confused, but because he skipped breakfast he complied. A few minutes later, Chuji's door burst open and the plump Genin stormed out. I'll never let anyone have the last chip. He snatched the chip from Naruto's hand and proceeded to try and eat it, only to have it snatched out of his hand by a white blur. Who's the dirty thief that stole my chip? Hey, what's going on? Kiba asked as Akamaru ate the stolen chip. After a brief explanation of the mission, Kiba said, Count me in, can't let Naruto show me up again. He then thought for a minute, we should probably get Shino as well. I thought about getting Shino, but he is on a mission with his Otosan, father, Shikamaru answered. I came for Chuji because I know I can work with him. Come up, we don't have much time left. The 3 genins, 1 Chunin and 1 dog ran off for the Konoha's main gates. Along the way they ran into another pair of genins, Neji and Lee. Another brief explanation and Neji joined the hunt with Lee declining to go because of his injuries. At the gate they paused for one final check of supplies. This was when Sakura showed up. Naruto, she addressed, her voice cracked in sadness. I couldn't stop Sasuke-kun. Only you can bring him back now. Please bring him back. Don't worry, Sakura-chan, Naruto assured. I'll bring him back, promise of a lifetime. Naruto gave her a thumbs up for emphasis, a pose he copied from Lee and Guy minus the glimmering teeth and crashing waves. Alright, listen up, Shikamaru said. We'll be using a line formation. It's the hardest to maintain, but it will keep us all in close proximity to one another, and is the fastest way to travel. The setup will be Kiba and Akamaru in the front, They can track the best and alert us to any traps or ambushes that we may encounter. Next will be me. I'll be in perfect position to hear Kiba's warning and issue orders. Next will be Naruto. With the Kagebushins, shadow clones, and stamina, he is the best to back up wherever it is needed. Next will be Chuji. He is the slowest of us but also has the most power, so he'll protect us from behind. And in the last position will be Niji. With the Byakugan, he can watch out behind us and warn us in case of a rear attack. After the explanation, Niji and the others were quite impressed. He only had a few seconds to come up with this formation, and did it near perfectly. No wonder he was made a Chunin. Now I never really liked Sasuke, Shikamaru said. And quite frankly I find him very troublesome. But he is a fellow Konoha shinobi and that makes him a comrade. We will get him back. The others agreed and soon sped off to retrieve the missing Genin. Soon the 5 young shinobi came across a large area filled with traps. The only thing that kept them from being caught was the warning from Akamaru. After a complete scan of the area by Niji's Byakugan, they found that the range of traps was so big that by the time they went around it was a good chance the Otonins would be well out of fire country by then. So with no other option they entered the trap area, moving at a walking pace in order to avoid the lethal traps. After an hour of walking they finally left the trap field, but not without several close calls, including a complex 3-layered trap wire that Naruto almost triggered. Thanks to Shikamaru and the Cagemane, Shadowbind, the trap was not set off. Once they were in the clear, Niji scanned ahead of them with the telescopic aspect of his clan's unique eyes. They are approximately 5 kilometers ahead of us, he informed. They appear to be taking a rest. I do not see, Uchiha thought. The largest one is carrying some kind of barrel, however. He focused on the barrel and penetrated the surface with the X-ray-like aspect of the Byakugan. There is some strange chakra inside the barrel, as well as a person. I believe it is Uchiha. Alright, we need to do this carefully, Shikamaru ordered. We have surprise so far and we need to keep it. These guys are probably Jounin at least. So we need every advantage we can get, so here is what we'll do. 10 minutes later the Otophore appeared to be relaxing a little, eating some camp rations. This was all an act because the one with 6 arms had set up early warning traps made out of spider webs all around their camp. The team from Konoha tripped these early warnings and the Otophore were waiting for them. When the 5 were close enough they quickly got to their feet and surrounded them. The one with silver/gray hair spoke. Thought you could sneak up on us? How amusing. He nodded to the other 3 and all drew their kunai and launched them at the Konohanins. Niji, Naruto and Kiba were able to jump away, but Shikamaru was not so lucky. Or at least that was the appearance. As soon as Chuji and Shikamaru were hit they disappeared into bursts of smoke. Kagebushins? The woman said. When she and the others tried to turn to they found they could not. The reason became clear as a shadow line was connected to each other, their own shadows. Heh, it worked, Shikamaru said, stepping into the clearing with Niji, Kiba and Chuji. The others burst into smoke, revealing Kagebushins of Naruto smiling in success. Looks like we got the drop on you. Did you? The apparent leader, the one with silver hair, said. The confusion from the 5 of Konoha ended when Shikamaru was forced to disengage his jutsu and jump away as a person just like the leader, threw several kunai at him. You didn't take into account of my brother. Everyone from Konoha was shocked to see the twin of the leader begin to merge into the leader's body. We need to get Orochimaru-sama's new vessel back to him, the large Otonin said. You guys go ahead. I'll deal with them. Fine, just don't get distracted in your snack, fat ass, the girl said. Shut up, Tayuya, the large one retorted. Kidomaru, take the barrel. The one with 6 arms nodded and picked up the barrel that contained Sasuke. When Naruto saw this he acted rashly and he and his Kagebushins tried to rush Kidomaru, only to have the large Otonin interrupt the charge and hit him back towards into the Kagebushins, destroying them in the process. Fine, you can have them, Jirubu, Kidomaru said. Have fun but don't hold us up. The 3 Otonins jumped away and the Konoha shinobi made a move to follow. This was stopped by several shuriken and kunai from Jirubu. You 5 aren't going anywhere. He made several fast hand seals before slamming his hands into the ground. Doridomo Doten Kekai no Jutsu, Earth Barrier Clay Prison. A massive dome of earth emerged from the ground and quickly covered the 1 Chunin and 4 Genin. Once the jutsu was complete, Jirubu smiled and licked his lips. Now I'll feast on their chakra. Inside the dome the confused Konoha heard the proclamation and became confused. That was until they felt their strength slowly start to fade. What the hell is going on? Kiba asked. Niji activated his Byakugan and searched the earth barrier. The dirt is saturated with chakra. He looked at his fellow Konoha shinobi and saw their chakra draining into the earth beneath them. It's draining away all our chakra. The 5 became extremely worried now and desperate. Kiba acted first by giving Akamaru a soldier pill, turning the white dog red. Let's go, Akamaru. Jujin Bunshin no Jutsu. Beast clone. A burst of smoke later, and there were now 2 kibas instead of 1. Gutsuga! Double piercing fang, the tornado-like taijutsu technique slammed into the wall of the dome only to bounce off and hit another wall. This continued for several hits until Kiba and Akamaru could no longer maintain it due to the chakra drain. When the dog and his master finally stopped, they saw several damaged sections all over the interior of the dome. Everyone felt some joy in the damage, because if they could damage the dome in one spot they could break free. The joy was short-lived, however, when the damage began to repair itself, leaving the interior of the dome completely smooth. At this point, Shikamaru dropped into his thinking pose and started to make a plan for escape. Meanwhile, Naruto cupped his hand and tried to start a Rasengan, only to see the constant drain kept him from being the process. Can't even form a Rasengan, Naruto thought. Further thought was stopped when Shikamaru opened his eyes and called out, "Hey, I need to talk to you. I would like to negotiate our release." "You are in no position to negotiate," Jiruba said from outside the dirt prison. "You'll all be dead in a matter of moments." That's where he is, Shikamaru thought. He has to maintain a constant flow of chakra into the ground to keep the damage repaired. If I can find out the weakest point, and we concentrate all our efforts there, I know we can break out. He was about to explain his plan to the others when Naruto shouted. "What are you, stupid?" Naruto yelled. "There's no way he is going to let us out. We have to break out of here and get Sasuke back." "Naruto, I have a plan," Shikamaru whispered, trying to calm Naruto down. "We don't have time. The longer we wait here, the further away the others get with Sasuke," Naruto said. His frustration at being trapped and the drain of his normal chakra started to cause Kyuubi's chakra to flow into his body. His features started to change, but not enough to cause a significant change. "We need to get out now." He started forming hand seals for his jutsu. "Naruto, wait!" Shikamaru tried again to stop Naruto, only to be shocked by Konoha's most surprising ninja. "Makidan, Hijitsu Saicho Ida. What element, secret skill, growth of the branches," Naruto yelled, slamming his hands into the ground. Because of the Kyuubi's chakra in his body, the jutsu was far larger than it would normally be. Massive branches shot out of the ground straight up, completely destroying the roof of the clay prison. The others watched in awe Naruto with a question that had become increasingly common on their mind: how did Naruto do that? Naruto looked back one last time as Rock Lee took his stance against the Otonin known as Kagaya Kimamaru. Over the course of the past 5 hours, Naruto had been progressively separated from his teammates, as they encountered the shinobi that took Sasuke, and just now Rock Lee showed up telling him to go after Sasuke while he took care of the bone-using shinobi. Determination set in Naruto's eyes as he raced off to fulfill his promise to Sakura. As he followed the path Sasuke left in Naruto's mind was able to drift back to what happened just after he and the others escaped from prison made of earth. The Konoha Genin were standing outside of the crumbled prison behind the tree Naruto caused to grow. The Genin and even the Otonin were looking at him with awe and confusion. As the leader, Shikamaru decided to take the initiative and ask, "Naruto, when did you learn to do that?" Niji followed immediately with a question of his own. "A better question would be how you learned to use that jutsu? Only the Shodaime Hokage has been known to use the Makidan, wood element, jutsus." Guys, I think we have more important to worry about," commented Kiba, reminding the others they were in the middle of a battle during a high-class mission. "We need to get Sasuke back," Naruto said, trying to divert attention from him. "I'll tell you when we get back." "This is so troublesome," Shikamaru grumbled. "Fine, right after the mission you can tell us. Now how do we take care of this guy?" "You guys go on ahead," Chuji stated. "I'll handle him." "Chuji?" Shikamaru asked. He was worried about his friend, knowing that the plump Genin had wanted to prove himself ever since the Chunin exam. Chuji had found his abilities somewhat lacking since then. Power like that displayed Lee, Naruto, Niji, and Sasuke would make just about anyone feel inferior. Shikamaru felt the same, but with his intelligence he could hold his own. Chuji did not think he could. "Trust me, Shika, I won't lose to him," Chuji replied. His voice and face were dead serious. He was going to beat the large Oto shinobi or die trying. "All right, Chuji will leave him to you," Shikamaru said. "Let's go, guys, we still need to get that troublesome Sasuke back." The others nodded and jumped away, and Chuji began the of his young life. Naruto knew that when this was all over he would have a lot of explaining to do, to Shikamaru and his friends like he promised, and to Tsunade for revealing his Makidan abilities. It would be rather difficult for Naruto to talk about, especially to his friends. For as much as he wanted people to like him, he hated talking about his past. He always felt if people knew just how bad it was they would pity him. Naruto wanted friendship, not pity. As he ran, Naruto could not help but wonder what pushed Sasuke to leave the village. He was clear that Sasuke left on his own choice, because otherwise he would not have run off after escaping from the barrel. Just was are you thinking, Sasuke? Naruto thought. About a kilometer ahead, Sasuke had finally reached the border between Fire Country and Rice Field Country. As he stood near a good-sized river's edge, he hesitated for a moment, wondering if his choice was the correct one. His pause was only momentary, however, as he crossed the border, knowing that by doing so he would be declared a nuke and would probably be hunted down for the rest of his life. It was rather ironic that Sasuke did not see that in his need to destroy his brother he had become just like him, a traitor to Konoha. Naruto arrived on the scene just as Sasuke crossed the border into Rice Field Country. "Sasuke!" Naruto called. Sasuke stopped and turned to face Naruto. When he saw him, Sasuke smirked at the arrival. "I knew he would show up. Now I can achieve the Manjikyu Sharingan. Combined with Orochimaru's curse seal, I'll be stronger than Itachi." When Naruto finally caught up to Sasuke, he started to yell, "What the hell do you think you're doing running away from Konoha?" "I'm not running, Dobe," Sasuke answered. "I'm just seeking power to kill my brother. And if you plan to stop me, then I'll just have to kill you." He gave no time for Naruto to think about what he said and attacked the blonde. He moved faster than Naruto previously saw and landed a hard punch to Naruto's stomach, followed by a spinning back fist that sent Naruto close to the river's edge near two giant statues and a large waterfall. Naruto quickly got to his feet just as Sasuke was upon him and dodged to his left to avoid Sasuke's sidekick. When he did, Naruto countered with a sweep kick that kicked Sasuke off balance, sending him to the ground. In his time with Yamato, Naruto not only learned new Makidan, wood element, jutsus, but also improved his taijutsu as well. No one expected Yamato, and Naruto actually knew this, so Naruto caught Sasuke by surprise. But he would not do that again. Kagebushin no Jutsu. Shadow Clone. 5 more Narutos appeared in a puff of smoke and they all charged Sasuke. Sasuke was able to roll out of the way before the first Naruto was at him. As he stood up and blocked the punch from the Naruto, and with a palm to the face destroyed that one in a burst of smoke. 2 others followed soon after with a kick to face and an elbow to the head. The last 3 were able to land 2 punches and a kick to Sasuke's knee, once again dropping to the ground. As Sasuke fell to one knee, Naruto tried to kick him in the face. Sasuke was able to punch Naruto in the stomach, destroying yet another clone. When he looked around, he saw the other 2 Narutos a few paces back. He recognized what they were doing from the rooftop. "It's that jutsu again," Sasuke thought. He quickly turned on his Sharingan and performed the hand seals necessary for his strongest attack, Chidori. "Rasengan," Naruto said as he completed the jutsu. The Kagebushin grabbed Naruto by free hand, spun and threw Naruto at Sasuke as the Uchiha ran at him at top speed. The collision between the jutsus caused a huge explosion that knocking Naruto and Sasuke back. Sasuke was blown into a nearby tree, but Naruto, being near the river, was blown back into the water. He was soon carried downstream and towards the waterfall. He had not regained enough of his senses to avoid falling off the waterfall, but was recovered quickly enough to control his fall and splash down into the lake below the waterfall with minimal damage to his body. When Sasuke recovered, he saw Naruto go over the edge and race to the side of the cliff to see Naruto land relatively safely below. He glanced down at his hand, thinking, "That jutsu is stronger than mine. The only reason the matchup was equal was because I have greater accuracy with my Sharingan." Needing to finish the fight, Sasuke raced down the side of the cliff, activating his curse seal for more power and greater speed. Soon he was running across the surface of the lake. He was able to do this because he copied the skill just a few minutes ago from Naruto. He was able to catch Naruto off guard and picked him up by the collar of his orange jacket as he powered up his Chidori a second time. Naruto felt his body being lifted by a strong grip. When he looked at the person who was lifting him up, his eyes widened, seeing the curse seal activated on Sasuke. "Sasuke, what ARHHHHHHHH?" Naruto's question was cut off as Sasuke jammed his chakra-powered hand into Naruto's body. Sasuke had to smirk as he plunged his hand into Naruto's chest. The wound was fatal, and even if there were a medical need close by, there would be no possible way to heal the wound in time. "You were able to dodge my Chidori at the last second and avoided the instant kill," Sasuke said. "But your lung has been almost completely destroyed and you can't use your right arm either. You won't even be able to use any jutsu now." He extracted his hand but was still holding Naruto up with the other. "You'll be dead in a matter of moments." Sasuke trailed off as he felt Naruto begin to stir with the wound, and the blood lost. Naruto should not have been able to move at all. At this moment, however, he started to reach for Sasuke's hand with his own. As he brought his hand up, Sasuke took note that it was not a normal hand that gripped his wrist. The hand no longer contained blunt fingernails but instead possessed flesh-rendering claws. As Naruto began to squeeze, Sasuke felt pain shoot through his wrist. When he looked at Naruto's face, he saw blood-red eyes with cat-like pupil and sharper fangs than he had ever seen on any Inuzuka. Naruto let out a demonic growl as Sasuke struggled to get free. "I won't let you leave, Sasuke." Sasuke, feeling fear from the voice and the amount of chakra Naruto was radiating, desperately looked for a way to extract himself from Naruto's vice grip. Thinking quickly, Sasuke kicked at Naruto's injured chest and Black flipped away to land in the water. During the flip, he activated his Sharingan just in case Naruto pulled off some kind of surprise. When he looked upon Naruto, he gasped as he saw a strange red chakra collecting at the wound and healing it at an impossible rate. When the hole was fully healed, Sasuke was further surprised as the level chakra began to rise and the form of a gigantic nine-tailed kitsune, fox, appeared in his vision. The force started to ripple outward from Naruto, causing the lake they were fighting on to white, capping in gale force winds blowing out in all direction. What are you?" Sasuke demanded. Naruto's response did not come in words. Instead, it came in the form of a loud inhuman growl/yell, "Aarrrrrggggg." In the blink of an eye, Naruto was upon Sasuke and delivered a bone-crushing punch to Sasuke's stomach. The Uchiha skipped across the lake and rolled onto the bank. He did not get any time to recover as Naruto was in front of him once again, delivering a kick to his chin followed by two successive punches and followed spin kick that sent Sasuke crashing into the cliff wall behind the fighting pair. Even with his Sharingan activated, he was not able to keep his vision clear. The strength of the hits and the impact into the cliff face left his sight blurry. When his eyes cleared enough, he saw Naruto charging him once again. Flashing through hand seals, he called out, "Katan, Housenka no Jutsu. Fire element, Phoenix Fire." The medium-sized fireballs blasted out of Sasuke's mouth directly at Naruto. The reason Sasuke did not use his usual Gakkaku no Jutsu, Grand Fireball, was at close range. The several medium fireballs did more damage than the single large one. Every fireball hit Naruto dead on, sending him crashing back into the lake, giving Sasuke some breathing room. Because Sasuke was still dizzy, he tried to clear his vision by focusing more chakra into his eyes. When he did this, his eyes started to burn for a brief second, and then his sight became clearer than it had ever been. Sasuke knew instantly what had happened. He finally mastered his Sharingan. Naruto stood up as soon as he hit the water. The burns he sustained from the barrage of fireballs were already healing because of Kyuubi's chakra. When he stood upright, he charged once again as he saw Sasuke flinch in pain for some reason. He was hoping to use the distraction to get the drop on him. When his fist was about to connect to the Uchiha, the Kyuubi vessel was shocked when Sasuke easily dodged the fist and stepped into his guard to deliver a nasty kick to his chest. As Naruto stumbled back, Sasuke continued his assault with a 3-hit combo that sent Naruto into the air. While he was in the air, Naruto went to his most familiar hand seal, Kagebushin no Jutsu. Shadow Clone. The duplicates and Naruto dropped onto the ground and started to attack in a group. With his fully developed Sharingan, Sasuke was able to predict where each and every strike was coming from. The result was that none of Naruto's attacks landed a clean hit, and the Kagebushins were quickly destroyed. When Naruto was the only one left, Sasuke took out several shuriken and attacked thin metal wires to them. With 3 in each hand, Sasuke threw the shuriken at Naruto. Naruto tried to dodge, but Sasuke anticipated his movements and directed the shuriken to intercept him. Soon Naruto found himself wrapped in the wires, unable to move. "I told you, you're not anywhere near my level," Sasuke gloated as he began rapid and rather numerous hand seals before saying, "Katan, Ryuka no Jutsu, Dragon Fire." A massive blast of fire rushed down the wires and exploded as it hit Naruto's body, slamming him into a massive boulder. Sasuke dropped to the ground from the chakra needed for the jutsu. As Naruto began to lose consciousness, he found himself in mental landscape that appeared to be a dungeon holding the strongest of the Biju-tailed beasts, prisoner. When he looked up, he saw the demonic gaze of the Kyuubi staring down at him. "That was pathetic," the Kyuubi said. "Let me show you what my power is truly capable of." The Kyuubi willed more chakra than it ever did through the bars of his cage and directly towards Naruto. On the outside, Sasuke was finally standing up and was about to finish Naruto off in order to claim his Manjikyu Sharingan when he saw the strange red chakra begin to bubble out once again. As he watched, he saw the chakra become semi-solid and coat around Naruto's body. So this is why Itachi wants him, Sasuke thought. It has to be this strange power that Naruto possesses. Naruto slowly began to stand as the chakra took the rough outline of the kitsune. When he saw Sasuke, he dashed at him on all fours even faster than before. Sasuke saw the blow that was coming and attempted to dodge. It surprised him that at the last moment the chakra itself shifted and slammed directly into face. "You're not getting away, Sasuke. I promised Sakura-chan I would bring you back, and I'm going to keep that promise." Sasuke grunted from the pain as he stood up and regarded the demonic blonde. "I was right, wasn't it?" Sasuke said, causing Naruto to stop. "This power is the reason my brother wants you. This makes you special." But, as he said this, the black marks of the curse seal began spread once again. However, unlike when the fight began, the marks began to merge, covering his entire body. Soon Sasuke's skin started to change its pigment, and his hair doing the same as it grew longer. This was not the most disturbing sight, however, as the back of Sasuke's shirt started to rip apart, and 2 giant webbed hand-like wings shot out. I have become even more special than you. He started to perform 4-hand seals and his right hand grabbed the left as black chakra started to arc like lightning. Let us find out who is stronger, Naruto. He charged Naruto, dragging his hand, creating a massive trench as he went. Chidori. Naruto narrowed his eyes as Sasuke charged him. He knew he had to stop Sasuke and quickly formed a plan and started to perform hand seals for a very unique jutsu. You better believe I'll show you who's stronger. Sasuke watched the unfamiliar seal sequence and was even more surprised as he did not understand how the chakra was molded. He attributed it to the red chakra Naruto was generating, so he ignored it. He increased his speed just as Naruto slammed his hands into the ground. A Doton, earth element jutsu? He thought. Makidan, Kita Shibara no Jutsu. Wood element, branch bind skill, Naruto said as he slammed his hands into the ground. The Kyuubi's chakra made the jutsu much stronger than when he used it against Kabuto, and branches the size of small tree trunks shot out of the ground, wrapping around Sasuke's torso, stopping his run. Impossible, Sasuke thought. As the top student at the academy, he knew Konoha history nearly inside and out. So he knew of the Shodame's legendary ability to control wood. The fact that Naruto performed the jutsu was inconceivable in his mind. While Sasuke was immobilized, Naruto lifted his hand with palm up. Sasuke's Chidori was still activated, and it could be used to break the wooded bindings easily, so he had to finish this fight now, while he had the chance. So he focused collecting chakra into the palm of his hand and began to spin and compress the chakra, Rasengan. He made the 4 steps that were in between him and the bound Sasuke and shoved the purple, because of a mixture of his chakra and the Kyuubi's, ball into his stomach. At the last moment he remembered his promise to Sakura and pulled back just slightly so the jutsu would not enter his body and not kill him. The wind caused by the jutsu ripped apart the branches and caused Sasuke to fly back and knocking him as he hit the ground. As Sasuke passed out, the Kyuubi stopped sending its chakra to Naruto. When the red fox form faded from view, the loss of chakra caused Naruto to drop to his knees in exhaustion. Channeling that much chakra for so long would take its toll on even a veteran jounin. Teams, bastard, more trouble than he's worth, Naruto said just as he joined Sasuke in unconsciousness. In the middle of the vast forests of that surrounding Konoha, Kakashi traveled at a fast pace following his Nindog Pakken. He had returned from an S-class mission only to hear that Sasuke had left the village and a team of genins went after him. He was extremely angry at the news because a mission like this should have been assigned to jounins or Anbu. He did not say anything because he knew how stretched Konoha's forces were. Still, that did not stop him from going after his students. Along the way he summoned his tracking dogs and soon Pakken was able to pick up their scent. Kakashi, Pakken said. I can smell the moisture in the air starting to rise. It's going to rain soon. We need to hurry up then before the scents are washed away, Kakashi ordered as he and the dog increased their speed. Nearly an hour of traveling at top speed later, Kakashi and Pakken arrived at the Valley of the End. What he saw shocked him because of the level of devastation done to the surrounding area. Did Sasuke and Naruto do this? Kakashi silently asked himself. Kakashi, their scents are coming from down there, Pakken informed by pointing his paw down to the lake below. Kakashi ran up to the edge and saw only one genin lying unconscious on the shore below. The genin was Naruto. Worried for his loudest student, Kakashi ran down the side of the cliff with Pakken right behind him. When they landed by the edge of the lake, he looked around, taking notice the distinctive signs of the jutsus they used. Sasuke looked like he used Chidori from the trench and Naruto used his Makidan jutsus, then the Rasengan if the damage is any indication. But where's Sasuke? Kakashi, Pakken said, there's a third scent here. Do you know who it belongs to? Kakashi asked. Pakken took a couple of sniffs before answering, I believe it's Kabuto's. Just as he said this, the rain started to fall, washing away any chance of following after. Author's note: I left the fights the same from the time of the flashback up to the time Naruto confronted Sasuke. There was a very tense atmosphere around Konoha Hospital. Several of the village's most talented up-and-coming shinobi arrived in critical condition. The ones with the heaviest injuries were Akamichi Chuji and Hyuga Niji. For the past 12 hours the medic nins worked non-stop to heal the young genins. It was fortunately the Godame Hokage was the world's foremost expert on medicine, as under her guidance they would be able to save the strongest batch of genin in several decades. The families of the genin silently thanked whomever it was that convinced Tsunade to return to Konoha. It was a well-known fact that she left Konoha vowing never to return. The person, they assumed it was Jiraiya, that convinced her to return did a great service to the village, one that they may never be able to repay. Currently the Godame Hokage had just finished up treating Chuji, and reversed the effects caused by his family's special soldier pills. As she came out she found the blonde Kunoichi Yamanaka Ino, and the head of the Akamichi family sitting in the small waiting room outside the emergence room. When she saw the looks of concern on their faces, she gave a reassuring smile. Don't worry, he's going to be just fine. The pair let out a sigh of relief at the news. It was thanks to the documentation and research of the ingredients from the Nara clan that I was able to reverse the effects. I guess the long friendship of your families really paid off, Chomara. The large Jounin gave a smile and an enthusiastic nod. He was so happy that his only child was safe that he could not even hope to express his gratitude. Hokage-sama, can we see Chuji now? Ino asked. Right now he needs his rest, Tsunade said with a shake of her head. You'll have to visit him tomorrow. Both visitors nodded and went to leave the hospital. As she left, Ino could not help but frown. She had expected Shikamaru to stay with her and Chuji's father until they found out that Chuji was better. The only reasons she did not go ballistic when Shikamaru left the waiting room were that any loud noise would get her thrown out, and that she figured the reason Shikamaru left was to check on Naruto. A messenger had arrived and informed the new Chunin of something, and he left right after with an unusual look on his face. When she asked the messenger what happened, he told her that Naruto had come in injured as well. Ino believed that Shikamaru was showing concern for the hyperactive blonde, as until then there was no word on him. What Ino did not know was that Shikamaru was highly concerned with Naruto's condition. Not only because he come to think of him as a friend, albeit a troublesome one, he also wanted to get some answers about Naruto's unknown abilities. When he arrived at another room in the critical care section of the hospital, he was met up by Team 7's Jounin sensei Kakashi. Kakashi-sensei, I'm not sure how to ask this, but Shikamaru began, unsure how to approach the subject. He was not even sure Kakashi knew about Naruto's abilities. It was clear Naruto only used the Makidan, wood element, jutsus because the situation was life and death. Naruto used some rather unique jutsus. Kakashi looked at his fellow lazy genius with an arched eyebrow for a moment. All of Naruto's jutsus are unique, Kakashi thought. Still, Shikamaru is probably referring to Naruto's Makidan jutsus. You'll be informed when you're debriefed by Hokage-sama. Shikamaru reluctantly agreed, but knew he would soon have some answers to this troublesome mystery. It was fortunate for him that Tsunade arrived not long after Kakashi spoke. Even after working non-stop to heal all the genin, she still carried her stride with the energy and confidence that bespoke of her rank as Hokage. I'm glad you're here, Shikamaru. I can get your report after I check on Naruto, Tsunade said. She entered the room with Kakashi following close behind. As soon as they entered the room, Kakashi spoke up. Shikamaru said Naruto used some unique jutsu during the mission. I believe he is referring to the Makidan. I saw evidence that Naruto also used them during his fight with Sasuke. Tsunade gave no indication she heard Kakashi, not that she needed to, as the copycat knew she did. She was too busy looking over Naruto's unconscious form to respond. Looks like the field medics were right, she thought. All he appears to be suffering from is extreme exhaustion. As she scanned his body with the diagnosis jutsu, she came to a spot on his chest about the size of a fist. There is some scar tissue here. To leave any scar tissue on Naruto must have been caused by an extremely damaging jutsu. She knew from when she examined Naruto after the fight with Orochimaru that his injuries heal at an incredible rate and leave almost no trace of damage. Considering the damage necessary to leave a scar, I would have to say Chidori did this. She glanced at Kakashi for a moment. Damn him for teaching that spoiled brat his jutsu. How is he? Kakashi asked, seeing Tsunade straighten after she finished checking Naruto out. He should be fine, Tsunade answered. Though it appears he took a near-fatal wound to the chest. Only the Kyuubi's regenerative abilities saved him. I see, Kakashi replied. He knew the kind of damage it would take to leave noticeable damage on Naruto, the kind of damage his personal jutsu did. A few minutes later, Tsunade was in her private office at the hospital with Shikamaru. She brought him here so they could speak openly without interruptions and eavesdroppers listening in. Kakashi has informed me that you witnessed Naruto using unique jutsus. Yes, Hokage-sama, Shikamaru responded. When we were trapped by the first of the Oto shinobi, that Naruto used a jutsu that previously thought only the Shodaime could use. After Naruto freed us, he said he would tell us how he was able to do them when the mission was over. What I am about to tell you is highly sensitive material and is not to be told to any without my permission, Tsunade ordered. Shikamaru nodded and Tsunade continued, Naruto's origins have been a closely guarded secret by the Sandaime Hokage and Naruto. In fact, until I recently went through his old journals did I find out the truth. I am sure that you have heard of situations that arise during missions that produce illegitimate children. Shikamaru nodded at that. It was one way some clans with power bloodline limits become so large in a relatively short amount of time. The clan did not want to risk their secrets getting out due to a brief error in judgment, so it was not uncommon for clans to take those children in. But sometimes some children were missed. So you are saying the Shodaime had an encounter with another woman besides his wife at some point, and Naruto is decided from that encounter, Shikamaru concluded. Very astute conclusion, Shikamaru, Tsunade said. She knew she was only telling Shikamaru half-truths about Naruto, but for now she decided that telling Shikamaru a little bit of truth and let the genius draw his own conclusions was the best course of action to protect Naruto. For now they still needed to keep Naruto's origins as secret as possible. He needed to grow in strength enough in order to protect himself from Konoha's enemies. Many rival shinobi villages would love to get the secrets of the Shodaime Hokage, so the half-truths and outright lies were needed, for now. Tsunade knew that Shikamaru would need some information and would quickly draw a logical conclusion. All she had to do was present the information in the right way. He may be a genius, but so was she, and add to decades more experience she had over him, it was easy to pull off this minor manipulation. I cannot tell you any more for Naruto's safety. I understand, Hokage-sama, Shikamaru said. He knew there was a lot more, but he had to agree that kind of power needed to remain secret. Now tell me about the rest of the mission, Tsunade ordered. Shikamaru complied and relayed everything he knew. Hours later, Naruto woke up with Tsunade sitting next to his hospital bed. Tsunade was here to inform him of the story that was told to Shikamaru so that he does not tell any conflicting stories. After she was done, Naruto's first question was, what happened to Sasuke? Kakashi found you at the Valley of the End unconscious and alone, Tsunade began. When he arrived, one of his dogs detected Kabuto's scent. We believe that Orochimaru sent him to retrieve him. We also think that Kabuto did not finish you off because Kakashi arrived. Kakashi said his dog informed him the scent was still relatively fresh. Naruto became dejected that even though he beat Sasuke, he still failed in his promise. Why didn't Kakashi-sensei go after them? Naruto asked quietly. You needed medical attention, Naruto, Tsunade answered. And the rain was washing away the trail. There was no way he could go after them. I see, Naruto whispered. How is everyone else? Everyone came back with injuries, Tsunade answered. But everyone is stable now and will make a full recovery. That's good, Naruto said. Have you told everyone else what you told Shikamaru? Not yet, Tsunade answered. When they're better, I'll give them a debriefing and I will tell them what I told Shikamaru. She then leaned in and kissed him on the forehead. Get some rest. You can tell me what happened after you left Rock Lee tomorrow. A week later, everyone was finally let out of the hospital. In that time, the only visitors that came to Naruto were Jiraiya and Tsunade. This made Naruto rather sad because he had hoped Sakura and Kakashi would come visit him. Once he was informed that all the Jounin were on constant missions, he felt better about Kakashi not visiting. He assumed Kakashi was out of the village. Sakura, on the other hand, had no such excuse, so Naruto concluded that she did not want to see him because she blamed him for not bringing Sasuke back. In truth, Sakura had not visited because she was feeling guilty about making Naruto promise to bring Sasuke back. She could not face Naruto for forcing him into such a dangerous position. As to her, that was all she did. Because of me, Naruto's faced death so many times, Sakura thought. There was the bridge when I wasn't strong enough to help against the nuke Nin, missing Nin, from Kiri, then there was fight against Gaara, and now this. It's my fault. I wasn't strong enough to protect myself and not strong enough to stop Sasuke when I had the chance. And because of that, Naruto almost died again. Maybe I shouldn't be a ninja anymore. Naruto was wandering around the village marketplace. When he talked with Jiraiya in his hospital room, he vowed that no matter what, he would bring Sasuke back, no matter how long it took. He was tempted to go off on his own and get Sasuke back by himself, but he also realized that he was now a target, and if he did go after Sasuke, Orochimaru would capture him as well. Damn team, bastard, damn Hebe, snake, Naruto said, cursing the pair. He hated to feel helpless, and right now that was how he felt, all because of Sasuke and Orochimaru. I wonder I'm going to keep training with Ero-sanin and Yamato-san? Naruto wondered. Naruto, a voice said from the left. Naruto turned to see Kiba with Akamaru coming out of the veterinarian's office the Inuzuka clan owned. Kiba, how's Akamaru doing? Naruto asked. He's doing better, Kiba answered. Isn't that right, Akamaru? The white puppy barked an affirmative answer. So what's it like? It just sucks that I can't tell anybody, that's all, Naruto replied. Heh, always trying to show off, Kiba laughed. Just because you can do those jutsu doesn't mean we'll lose to you, dope. You want to fight Inuabuki, dog breath. Naruto yelled, because if you do, I'll kick you ass just like in the Chunin exam prelims. Like you could, Kiba yelled back. That was just a fluke. Just like it was a fluke he defeated me in the finals? Neji asked, coming up with his team. Or when he beat Gaara during the invasion? Lee asked. No, Naruto is truly a worthy rival. And someday I will defeat him like my other eternal rival Neji. So how are you two doing? Tenten asked. She was obviously referring to their injuries from the recent retrieval mission. I'm fine and Akamaru will be ready to start training again in a couple of days, Kiba answered. I'm great, Naruto answered. In fact, I've been fit for training since I left the hospital. Neji raised an eyebrow at that. Chakra exhaustion caused shinobi to be laid up for weeks usually, and even then they don't return to 100% right away. Just one more mystery that surrounds him, Neji thought. Just how many secrets does he have? Neji had been able to detect that Tsunade was holding back a lot of information when she debriefed the team earlier that week. He asked Hayashi what he knew about Naruto after he defeated him during the Chunin exam. All Hayashi would say was that Naruto had a hidden power that he was not able to talk about. Neji at first thought it was the Makidan jutsus, but now he felt Hayashi was referring to something else. It probably has to do with that strange red chakra he was able to produce when he fought me. Well, I've got to get going, Kiba said. My team is scheduled to do a lame D-class mission. It's all we're allowed to take until the docs say I'm back to full health. Don't forget to take Hinata-sama with you, Kiba, Neji said. His statement earned an eat from around the corner. The Hyuga progeny knew his cousin was once again following Naruto around. Kiba nodded and walked in Hinata's direction. Come on, Hinata, Kurenai-sensei and Shino are probably already waiting for us. Hinata cautiously stepped out from the corner, pocking her fingers together. Gee, goodbye, and Naruto-ke-kun. She quickly ran off after Kiba before Naruto could respond. She sure can be weird, Naruto mused silently. In the Hokage's office, a discussion was taking place that would decide the next few years of Naruto's life. According to my information network, Akatsuki has gone into hiding, Jiraiya informed the other two. They should not be active again for another 3 years. So that means Naruto is safe from them for the time being, Yamato replied. But that still leaves Orochimaru, Tsunade countered. He wants the power, and the easiest way for him to get it would be to kidnap Naruto. For now we don't have to worry about that either, Jiraiya said. The information I discovered about the immortality jutsu he created needs at least 3 years to perform again, but it also takes him months to adjust to the new body so that he is up to full strength. Coupled with the fact that 5 of his best shinobi are now dead, Yamato added. For now Naruto is safe. I've spoke with Naruto, Jiraiya said. He's adamant that he goes after Sasuke and I doubt there's anything we can do to stop him. I agree, the brat can be incredibly stubborn. So the question is, what do we do now? Tsunade asked. The ideal solution is for you two to take Naruto away to train without telling anyone where you're going. But I can't afford to have one of my best Anbu captains just take off while we're rebuilding. We need every active shinobi and kunoichi we have. For now we can train him here, Yamato suggested. You said it yourself, Jiraiya-sama, there will be no threats from Akatsuki and Orochimaru for at least a few months. Train him here for the next few months, then we go off to train him away from the village, Jiraiya continued. The best estimates anyone can make is that Konoha will be under repairs and recovering from the attack in terms of mission loads for at least a year, Tsunade said. Even after a few months he'll still be needed for the mission load. So we both train him here for the next 6 months, Jiraiya said. Then I take him with Shodame's scrolls and train him in private. Finish teaching him the basics of Shodame's jutsus and let him learn the advanced jutsus on his own, Yamato replied. It would help him in his development, Jiraiya added. What usually stunts a shinobi's growth is a sensei holding their hand too much. A student should learn to develop and learn jutsus on their own. Naruto already has a talent for that anyway. He learned Kagebushin, Shadow Clone, on his own and only needed to be shown the stages of Rasengan once, and he worked it out on his own. Alright, Tsunade concluded. Jiraiya, you'll train Naruto, and Yamato, you'll give supplemental instruction him when in between missions for the next 6 months. Afterwards, Jiraiya, you'll take him away to train. In a darkened chamber deep in one of the underground bases that made up the Oto, Sound, hidden village, Kabuto came out of one of his many medical rooms. When he came out, the snake Sannin, whose one unbandaged eye looked highly annoyed, greeted him. How is Sasuke-kun doing? Orochimaru demanded. When Kabuto retuned with Sasuke a little over 2 weeks ago, he was very upset that his new body was in such a bad condition. Kabuto had reported that he found Sasuke unconscious with several injuries. Kabuto had also told him that the Kyuubi vessel who was also unconscious at the time. Kabuto would have brought Naruto back as well, but he detected some was coming and had to leave the area with Sasuke only. He is conscious, Orochimaru-sama, Kabuto reported. He has demanded that you start to train him. Apparently his loss to Naruto-kun has left him highly irritated. To see a person he thought was beneath him defeat him would make Sasuke-kun very angry, Orochimaru said. This will only make Sasuke-kun easier to manipulate. Orochimaru started to laugh as a new plan formed in his mind to make Sasuke more subservient to him. He would bait Sasuke with tidbits of information about Naruto's powers, the Shodame's jutsus, and the Kyuubi's chakra and both their potential. This would push Sasuke train harder and use the curse seal even more, making him easier to control through the curse seal's mental suggestion component. Orochimaru-sama, what about your former associates? Kabuto asked. Naruto's new abilities have surely reached them by now. You are mostly likely correct, Orochimaru replied. The Shodame's ability to influence a Bijuu's chakra will make Naruto a very tempting target, yet at the same time will cause them to proceed with caution. Just using a Bijuu's chakra with brute force would make him a formidable opponent. Using it with control will put him on even ground with some of them eventually. Won't that make him a threat to your goals as well? Kabuto asked. Orochimaru did not answer Kabuto but instead turned away and walked down the darkened corridor. Bring Sasuke-kun to my chamber, he ordered. He has to begin his training. After all, it would not do for my new body to be lacking in strength. Yes, Orochimaru-sama, Kabuto replied. Once Orochimaru was out of sight, Kabuto smirked, so he is worried about Naruto's development. This will prove most interesting. Naruto stumbled into his apartment and collapsed even before he made it to his bed. He had just returned from another day of training with Yamato and Jiraiya. The training had been going on for the past 2 weeks and Naruto always came home utterly exhausted. Quite a feat when one considered Naruto's natural stamina. Today had been among the most brutal to Naruto's body. For today was the day he would work on his still subpar taijutsu. Naruto's taijutsu was unique in that he did not have any formal style, not even the standard style that was taught at the academy. The reason for this was because of Naruto's inherent nature. The formal taijutsu styles simply conflicted with Naruto's best attribute, unpredictability. To circumvent this obstacle, Jiraiya and Yamato simply correcting the forms of his punches, kicks, other various strikes and throws. Then they would have a sparing succession and let Naruto work out what was best through experience, best way for Naruto to learn anything. And then there was what they did for today, body conditioning. When Naruto arrived at the training area at the horrific hour of 5 o'clock in the morning, he was greeted by Jiraiya alone. Yamato had been called away for a mission. Jiraiya had Naruto begin with basic warm-up exercises, stretching, push-ups, sit-ups, etc. Then Jiraiya went on to heavier exercises, punching a tree stump until his knuckles bled, kicking the same stump until his shins bled. After that, Jiraiya went on to body hardening conditioning, summoning several man-sized toads and taking a log and slamming it into Naruto's front and his back. Then have those same toads take metal poles and start whacking Naruto's upper legs again, front and back. After that, a brief rest period and Jiraiya focused on speed and dodging by throwing blunted kunai at Naruto, again with the aid of his toads. Next, Jiraiya would stretch Naruto's body out using an apparatus that would pull his limbs as far as they would go and leave him there for hours. By the time Naruto was finished with the day, he was ready to drop. Lying on his floor, Naruto could not help but think back to the first day he had experienced body conditioning. He had complained at the level of intensity. Jiraiya simply told him to quit complaining and get back to work. Naruto, so used to people ignoring him, and started yelling at Jiraiya, who started yelling back. After about 15 minutes of this, Yamato stepped in, mostly because he was getting a headache from the noise level. He stopped the argument by asking Naruto a simple question. Naruto, you want to be Hokage one day, correct? Yamato asked. You bet I do. It's my dream. Naruto nodded enthusiastically. The Hokage means you are the best in the Konoha, Yamato continued. And to be the best takes hard work. If you are not willing to work hard at it, then it will only be a dream. After that short conversation, Naruto threw himself into the training. He still complained, but it was mostly about how Jiraiya would still pull out his spyglass and look at in the direction of the Konoha bathhouses. The next day, Naruto was practically starving from missing dinner because he was so tired and all the work from yesterday. So Naruto went to his favorite restaurant in order to gorge himself on ramen. Once he arrived at the Ichiroku ramen stand, he immediately ordered ungodly amounts of food. After his 10th bowl, Naruto finally ate his fill and paid the ever-thankful chef and his daughter. Their business had been rather slow lately because of Naruto's training. After Naruto ate his fill, he went out to do some more training. Both Jiraiya and Yamato were out of the village today. Yamato was still on his mission and Jiraiya was checking on some of his contacts. This meant that Naruto was forced to train on his own for at least the next few days. Fortunately, Jiraiya and Yamato had already established a routine for Naruto to follow by now, so the QB vessel knew what to do today. Today was chakra-controlled training. Time to head for the waterfall, Naruto thought. At her family flower shop, Ino was contemplating what she should do for the rest of the day. Chuji was still recovering from the failed retrieval mission and Shikamaru has been regulated to various Chunin duties due to the heavy workload everyone was facing. This meant that Ino was temporarily teamed up with Lee and Tenten for missions because Niji was still recovering. Ino had mixed feelings about being teamed up with Guy's team. She was thankful that she had another girl to talk to, but on the other hand she had to deal with Guy and Lee. Now Ino actually did respect the odd pair. She saw Lee was willing to push himself beyond what most people would consider possible even when he was injured. But having to deal with Guy and Lee was a strain on one's sanity, and frankly if Ino had to hear one more speech about the flames of youth she was going to lose it. For now Ino was getting a break from her temporary team. Guy had taken Lee on a training trip to the mountains outside of Konoha to teach him another taijutsu technique. This meant that the two girls had the next few days off. Usually when this happened Ino was stuck with managing the family flower shop, but because her mother was around Ino was free from that duty and now her time was free. In the past she would try and either hunt down Sasuke to ask for a date, or go bother Sakura. Now that Sasuke was taken by Oto, Sound, and Sakura was doing some heavy training under Tsunade, both those options were not available. The result of all this was Ino being bored out of her skull. Maybe I'll head out to the forest, Ino thought. At least there I could see if the wildflowers were in bloom. One would think that because Ino was surrounded by flowers all her life she would rather to spend her time away from them. The truth is Ino truly loved flowers as they were a constant in the hectic lifestyle of a shinobi. What Ino hated was watching her parents shop because of the boredom that came from it, not the flowers. Later Ino was wandering along a small river in one of the denser parts of the forest inside Konoha's walls. She was following it because it led to a pool at the base of a small waterfall where wild lilies grew, and following the river was the best way to reach the pool. When she arrived at the waterfall she saw a rather unusual sight, a boy in nothing but boxers standing on the river just before the water fell over edge of the small cliff. "Hey, what are you doing?" Ino called out. Naruto was performing an exercise that Jiraiya showed him during the first week of training. Standing on water right before it goes over the edge of a waterfall. This was a harder chakra control exercise than the standard water walking. Instead of just focusing on keeping afloat, one also had to keep from moving, and because water moved fastest near a waterfall, Jiraiya made Naruto stand there. Naruto's chakra control has grown greatly over the last few weeks, but he was still having trouble. The difficulty of this exercise required his entire concentration in order to keep from falling over the edge of the waterfall. This had already happened twice before, which was why he stripped all his clothes off except his boxers before his third attempt. When Naruto heard Ino's question, he immediately lost his concentration and fell over the edge of the waterfall into the pool below. Ino, seeing the boy she had yet to recognize go over the edge, she ran to edge of the cliff and looked down into the pool. To her relief, she saw the boy surface and spit out some water. When she was finally able to get a good look at him, she immediately recognized the telltale whisker-like birthmarks on his cheeks. "Naruto?" she asked. Naruto looked at the voice. "Ino?" Both asked, "What are you doing here?" A few minutes later Naruto was out of the water and dressed, and Ino was at the base of the cliff. Ino had a slight blush on her face from when Naruto crawled out of the pool, and she saw that Naruto actually had a better body than she thought. "So what are you doing out here?" Naruto repeated the earlier question. "I was mostly taking a walk," Ino answered. "What about you? Why were you standing on the water so near the waterfall?" The fact that Naruto was standing on water was no surprise to Ino, as Naruto told her about his training under Jiraiya before the finals. But to stand near a waterfall was certainly very odd in her option. "I was training," Naruto answered. "It's harder to stand on moving water than it is on standing. Water moves fastest near a waterfall, so that increases the difficulty." "Oh," Ino replied. For the next several minutes of silence permeated the pair. As the two had never really spoken except for a handful of times, they did not have much of a foundation to start a conversation. Ino decided to end the silence with a question that had been bothering her ever since Naruto showed her his Rasengan. "Naruto, why do you train so much and so hard?" "So I can be Hokage," Naruto answered immediately. Ino looked at the other blonde genin for a moment, then said, "There has to be more to it than that. It's like you're out to prove something." Ino had come to this conclusion after she remembered the fights she witnessed, and the training she saw Naruto put himself through. Being on a team with Shikamaru and having clan jutsus that dealt directly with the mind made Ino rather proficient at observing a person's and guessing their motives. Nowhere near some others like Niji, but still pretty good. After a few seconds of silence, Naruto answered in an uncharacteristic soft voice. "All my life I've tried to prove everyone wrong." "What do you mean?" Ino asked. "For as long as I can remember there have been two constants in my life," Naruto began. "One was people mostly ignored me unless I forced them to look at me by shouting at the top of my lungs or doing other things to get attention. And the other was that when people talked to me it was always telling me what I could not do or would never be able to do. So I set out to prove everyone wrong." Naruto paused to clear some bad memories that came up as he was talking. "Everyone said I would never pass the Genin exam because I would never be able to do a Bushin, clone. I passed the exam and learned how to do Kage Bushin, shadow clone. No one thought I would ever be able to beat Niji or Sasuke or even Kiba and beat all three of them. Just about everyone thinks I'll be Hokage, but just like everything else I'll prove them all that they were wrong. Silently Naruto added, and maybe then I'll be treated like a human being instead of some kind of monster. Ino looked at the other blonde genin for a long while after hearing this. She tried to imagine what it was like to stand in the middle of a crowd of people only to have people turn away and being forced to scream at the top of her lungs just to get someone to look at her. And when some did, it was just to put her down and belittle her dreams. In truth, she could picture the image easily enough because she actually saw it on those few occasions when she actually looked at Naruto, usually as a result of his yelling about something. But when she tried to call up the feelings about this, she could draw no reference, as she had always had someone to pay attention to her. Whether it was a family member, a friend or teacher, some was there for her. The only thing worse than being alone is being alone in a crowd, Ino muttered an old saying she once heard. You have no idea, Naruto replied, having heard her. I'm sorry, Ino said. It was wholly inadequate in her opinion, as she was often one of those people that told he would never succeed, but it was all she could really say. Naruto looked at her for several seconds. Very seldom did someone actually apologize to him, and even less when they meant it, so it caught him off guard when Ino said it. After about 30 seconds of silence, he gave her his signature fox-like smile. No problem. He stood back up. Well, I need to get back to training. If Yamato-sensei and Ero-sennin learns I'm just sitting around, they'll probably triple my training. So I'll see you later. Naruto yelled as he ran up the cliff to reach the waterfall once more. Ino still sat on the bank of the pool for the next several minutes in silence, at least until she saw Naruto make a huge splash down in the pool once more. Ino could not help it and started laughing when Naruto surfaced and sputtered water out of his mouth. She laughed even harder when a small frog jumped on his head and gave a loud croak. Naruto sat on a tree branch of a tree he recently grew just a few days ago. Before he grew the tree to a full adult size, it was just a seedling he found in the forest. The fact that he was able to grow made the seedling to a 10-meter-high tree was a testament to his growth in the Mokuton, wood element, jutsus. At the rate he was going, he would be able to grow a tree from just a seed in a matter of weeks. In the 3 months since his training started, Naruto finally mastered the Mokusei Bushin, wood element clone, and added another 3 Mokuton jutsus: Mokusei Yoroi, wooden armor, Mokuton, Nino Yari, wood element, spear of roots, and Teino Maku no Ato Oo, seed of tracking. In addition to his Mokuton jutsus that Yamato taught him, Jiraiya also taught Naruto a couple of other jutsus for variety: Suiton, Mizu Bakuhatsu, water element, water blast, and Kaze Dorairu, wind drill. Currently Naruto was doing a bit of multitasking for his training. He had about a dozen Kagebushins, shadow clones, around the area. Some were training with the Tei no Maku no Ato Oo so that he would have a greater ability to sense the seed he placed on whatever he wanted to keep track of, in this case a small squirrel running through the trees. Another 4 Kagebushins were running some team tactics that Yamato showed him sometimes, and the last few were practicing taijutsu with Naruto himself looking over a scroll on the human body, or to be more specific, pressure points of the human body. 2 weeks ago Jiraiya had felt that Naruto's body conditioning exercises and refinement of his own unorthodox style had progressed enough for Naruto to learn some advanced taijutsu training principles. All shinobi taijutsu styles, even basic academy styles, are geared to strike the vital areas of the human body to cause maximum damage with minimal effort, so to conserve energy. The only real difference between taijutsu styles was the methods taught on how to strike these areas. Rock Lee and Mato Gai's Gukken, Iron Fist, used high speed and flexibility of the body. The Hyuga clan's Juken, Gentle Fist, and the Byakugan, White Eye, was geared around the use of quick precise strikes with chakra to hit the vital organs directly. Even the Uchiha clan's Kosasuriken, Intersecting Fist, did the same by using the Sharingan, Copying Wheel Eye, to see where the person was going and the strike at the best possible place. Jiraiya decided to take the base principle of striking the vital areas a step farther, and teach Naruto to strike pressure points and nerve clusters that could anything from causing a mess up in coordination to loss of control to bodily functions to outright death with just a couple of strikes. Currently Naruto was going over a diagram of a series of pressure points around the kidneys that would cause a person to lose control of the bladder every 30 minutes until the counterpoints were hit. In battle these points did not have much use, but in terms of dealing out payback in an embarrassing and relatively harmless way it was rather useful. In other words, it was a good way prank technique for Naruto to use when some of the villagers worked up enough guts, or got drunk enough, openly hassle him. Naruto was planning on testing out the technique the next time Jiraiya became distracted and tried to sneak off to peep into the woman's bath. Naruto could see the irony in causing problems for Jiraiya in the very area of his body the old pervert that ran his life. Yamato, who was in charge of supervising Naruto's training for the day, watched passively as yet another Kagebushin disappeared from a combination of punches and kicks to middle abdomen area where some nerve clusters would cause a person's left side to go completely numb. To a Kagebushin this was counted as a critical blow, and thus why it disappeared. Yamato glanced up at Naruto and noticed he paused in his study of the scroll to make another Kagebushin and then returned to his study. Naruto's progress has been exceptional over the last 3 months, Yamato thought. With his use of Kagebushin to supplement some of his jutsu and practical training, he has cut his training time down significantly. At the rate he's going, he'll be ready to leave the village by the end of the month, 2 months ahead of schedule. Gangway, I've got to use the bathroom. One of the Kagebushins yelled, running off into the forest. Yes, I did it, Naruto cheered from the branch. Yamato sighed at that. Naruto must have commanded the newest Kagebushin to test out the pressure points, Yamato muttered. I guess Jiraiya-sama is going to have some problems for the next couple of days. Louder, he called out to Naruto, Naruto, we're done for the day, you can head home if you want. Naruto jumped down from his tree and dismissed his Kagebushins. He paused for a moment as the knowledge of the Kagebushins that were practicing tactical and tracking exercises were sent to his brain. Looks like I can now sense my seeds up to 100 meters now, Naruto said. That's progress, but for the Tei no Maku no Ato to be effective you need to increase the range to at least half a kilometer, Yamato stated. Any idea how to make the training go faster? Naruto asked. Only way to increase the range you can sense it is to keep practicing, Yamato answered. And speaking of training, I'm going to be heading out on another mission tomorrow, so when Jiraiya-sama is not training you, you will be on your own again. Sorry, but the mission logs are backed up and well, you know. Yeah, Naruto agreed. I just wish that I could go on missions. The training is good and all, but it can get a bit, what's the word? Monotonous, repetitive, unending, Yamato suggested. Yeah, all those, Naruto agreed. It can get a bit monotonous. Well, with your teammate Sakura training under Hokage-sama, Kakashi-senpai taking A-rank missions on his own, and the other genin in your age group back on their teams now that everyone is healed and back up to full strength, the only missions you can take are D-rank missions, Yamato said. I'd rather do nothing than do a stupid D-rank mission, Naruto grumbled. I don't care what anyone says, D-rank missions should not be missions at all. They're just chores, nothing more. Yamato chuckled at Naruto's complaints as they walked back into the village. Well, I'll see you when I get back, Naruto. Yes, see you later, Yamato-sensei, Naruto said as he waved. The next day Naruto was walking towards the bathhouses in order to find Jiraiya. The super pervert was late for their training session and Naruto knew that Jiraiya lost track of time peeping on the women again. Unlike all the times this happened previously where Naruto had an irritated frown, he had a smile of anticipation. I tested out the combination yesterday on a Kagebushin, so I know it works, now I can put it to use. When he arrived he saw Jiraiya right where he expected him to be, by the women's side of the bathhouse looking through the wall via a newly drilled hole. Moving as quietly as he could, Naruto snuck up on the Erosanin. When he was close enough, Naruto made 3 quick jabs and at the proper pressure points that would cause the loss of bladder control. Jiraiya immediately stood up feeling that there was something wrong and spun around. What did you do, brat? Jiraiya demanded. I think you'll find out in few moments, Erosanin, Naruto said with a huge smile. Just after Naruto finished his sentence, Jiraiya's widened before he made a frantic dash to find the nearest restroom. Seeing his sensei run off like that caused Naruto to start laughing his head off. 5 minutes later Naruto was still laughing when Jiraiya got back looking very pissed off. That was a cheap trick, brat. That's what you get for being late, Naruto yelled back. And don't think I'll reverse it either. This is to teach you a lesson for being such a pervert. Ha, I already reversed it, Jiraiya said. You get to my level of strength without knowing about pressure points. And don't think that will ever work on me again because now I'll be on guard for it. Jiraiya's face went from angry to sadistic. Now for your punishment for that trick you pulled. Naruto took a step back at the aura of menace that Jiraiya was putting off, wondering if his prank on Jiraiya had been a good idea after all. 3 hours later at the break for lunch, Naruto knew the prank was a bad idea. Jiraiya put an entire day's worth of body conditioning exercises into a 3-hour block, leaving Naruto lying in a pool of his own sweat and blood. Who knew Erosanin could be so sadistic, Naruto thought. And the day is only half over with, and he said the hard part was yet to come. A noise at the edge of the clearing drew Naruto's attention and earned him a wince in pain as even the slightest movement caused his body to ache. When Naruto could see the source of the noise, he was somewhat surprised to see Team Guy entering the area. Team Guy, seeing Naruto, all 4 went on alert, thinking that he had been attacked just recently. Niji activated his Byakugan, Tenten pulled out Ten Kunai, Lee went into his Gukken stance, and Guy did the same. I see no one around, Niji said. The rest of Team Guy nodded and made their way over to Naruto's prone form. Naruto, Guy said in an unusually serious voice, what happened? Who did this to you? Naruto struggled to speak. Did Dan Mare Erosanin? Naruto then lost the last of his strength and fell into unconsciousness. Some time later Naruto started to wake up and heard two voices yelling nearby, "Go Lee, if Jiraiya-sama is training Naruto to such an extent then so must I, so that you can prove stronger than one of your rivals." "Yes, Ji-sensei," Lee shouted in response. "If I cannot complete these 2,000 squats then I shall jump rope 300 times. "What are Fuzzy Brows and Super Fuzzy Brows doing?" Naruto muttered. "After you passed and we determined that your injuries were not serious to warrant medical attention, Gai-sensei concluded that your exhaustion and injuries were a result of Jiraiya-sama's training," Niji spoke up. "Ever since then they have been doing one exercise after another." "How long have I been out?" Naruto said after sitting up with only a minor ache thanks to his high regeneration rate. "About 2 hours or so," Tenten answered, joining in on the conversation. "Eh?" Naruto looked confused. "Has Ero-san come by since then?" "Yes," Niji said. "He saw us and then saw you passed out. He said to tell you that you would continue where you left off tomorrow, and then left saying something about research. I think he just wanted to get away from Gai-sensei and Lee." "Yeah, I see," Naruto said as Lee and Gai went into the sunset and hugging part of their training routine. Turning away from the disturbing bonding ritual between the two, Naruto asked, "So what are you guys doing out here?" "We were training," Tenten said. "Gai-sensei was taking us out here for more forest combat practice when we ran into you. Things kind of got sidetracked from there." "Sorry I interrupted, I guess," Naruto apologized, scratching the back of his head. "Don't worry about it," Tenten said, waving him off. "What have you guys been up to lately?" Naruto asked because he had not seen much of his friends lately, and this was a chance for him to catch up. "Most training and missions," Niji answered. "I have been receiving training from Hayashi-sama. Tenten has perfected some new weapons katas and Lee has been training in a new taijutsu style." "That's good. What kind of missions?" Naruto asked. "C rank mostly," Tenten answered. "Though we have been forced to take on a couple of B rank due to the work overload." "B rank?" Naruto asked. "Wish I could go on a couple of those. All I can go on is D rank missions and train because all the teams are full now." "Sorry to hear you can only take D rank missions," Tenten said. "But at least with all that training you're doing you have probably become a lot stronger." "Yeah, I've gotten a really strong since the last time we saw each other," Naruto said with a great amount of pride in his voice. "What about the others? What's been happening with them?" "Last I heard Team 10 was in Ocean Country helping Mitarashi Enko investigate some problems with the shipping in that area," Tenten answered. "They've each learned a new family jutsu and put together a few new team maneuvers. Not too sure about Team 8 though." "Hinata-sama and her team are also out of the village," Niji said. "They are escorting a caravan to the capital of Fire Country. Hinata-sama has invented her own absolute defense that slices anything within range instead of throwing an attack to the side like the Kaiten, Heavenly Spin. Also, according to her, Kiba has become faster, and Shino has a new colony of his Kikai, Destruction Insects." "Sounds like everyone's getting stronger," Naruto concluded. "I wonder how Sakura-chan is doing?" "I've seen her a couple of times at the hospital helping the staff out," Tenten spoke up. "But other than that I don't know, you would have to ask her yourself." "I might do that," Naruto said. Nearly a dozen kilometers east of Konoha, a nondescript man was kneeling in front of Kabuto. This was one of the Oto sound spies that Orochimaru has around the continent that reported to him. This particular one was assigned to Konoha to keep tabs on the Snake Sanin's former village. Recently he had been assigned the task of watching Naruto. The target has been training with Jiraiya of the Sannin and a jounin named Yamato for the past 3 months. The two train him in private, and the target is rarely left alone when he is not training with them. At least 2 Umbu shadow him before and after the training sessions. "And how has those training sessions been progressing?" Kabuto asked. Orochimaru has become interested in what kind of training the target was been receiving. The spy hesitated for a moment before answering. "I was not able to view the target's training. I tried to follow but the Sannin detected me and I had to flee." "Did he spot you?" Kabuto asked. "No," the spy said. "But he has been on alert ever since that day. I have had to lay low." Kabuto without another word pulled out a kunai and stabbed the spy in the throat, killing him instantly. "Fool," Kabuto said to the corpse. "If Jiraiya detected you then the Konoha Umbu are searching for you and eventually they would have discovered you." Kabuto then pulled out a scroll and performed a series of hand seals and summoned a large snake. The snake proceeded to eat the corpse, and then disappeared in a burst of smoke. The scroll burned after that, as a fire jutsu activated once the one-time used Kyocho's summon jutsu was finished. "Better get out of here before any Umbu come." Late that night, Kabuto reached one of the many hidden bases that made up the village of Oto. Once there, he went straight to a room furthest in and met Orochimaru. After a brief report on what the spy told him and his explanation of the execution of the spy, Kabuto waited for Orochimaru to respond. It is safe to assume that Naruto's other sensei is the other survivor of my experiment, as he is the only one that can teach him to use the Mokutan Jutsus, Orochimaru mused. The lack of information on his progress is unfortunate, but for the immediate time it is not of much concern. I can simply tell Sasuke-kun that Naruto has been progressing at an increasing rate to motivate him further. Still, I should make future preparations for if he becomes a nuisance and tries to disrupt my plans. Orochimaru then lapsed into silence for a moment before looking at Kabuto again. Prepare your equipment for Sasuke to start the second half of his training. I will need my new body as strong as possible when the time comes. Yes, Orochimaru-sama, Kabuto bowed. It will take time to prepare for everything. The process of enhancement was originally designed for an individual who has fully matured, and regardless of Sasuke-kun's abilities, he is still physically just barely a teenager. I will have to modify the process a bit before we get started. Yes, I don't want any detrimental effects on my future body because of poor planning, Orochimaru agreed. Do what you need to, but be quick about it. The sooner we start, the more we can accomplish. It was the end of another grueling day of training for Naruto under Jiraiya. In just under a week, the two would be leaving Konoha for the next 2 years. Jiraiya had a thoughtful look on his face whenever he would watch Naruto train. It started when Yamato and he got into a discussion about chakra elemental affinity that Naruto overheard. He had asked what it was, and they explained easily enough. Each person's chakra has an affinity towards the 5 elements that allows them to use and invent jutsus. The next question after that was predictable. How does one know their chakra elemental affinity? Different villages have different methods of finding out, Yamato began. Here in Konoha we use special paper made from a rare type of tree. You channel your chakra into the paper. If the paper burns, your affinity is fire. It gets wet, water, splits in half, wind, crumples, lighting, and if it turns to dust, earth. So what are you guys' chakra affinity, and for that matter what are mine? Naruto asked. Both of ours are earth and water, Jiraiya answered. Mine has a slightly greater affinity towards water, thus my ability to work so well with toads and make swamps. Toads like water, and swamps are basically wet earth. Mine is an almost equal affinity to both earth and water, Yamato added. And so should yours as well. It allows us to use the Makudan, wood element. Forests require water and the earth to thrive. You know, we should probably check just to make sure, Jiraiya said while his face showed deep thought. The Kyuubi's chakra could have some unknown effect on Naruto's affinity. I'll pick some sheets of the paper and we can test him tomorrow, Yamato said. The next day Yamato showed up and produced a simple white square of paper and handed it to Naruto. Now Naruto, channel your chakra into paper and we'll see how it reacts. Naruto did so and the paper reacted. What surprised the Sannin and Umbu captain was that the paper was split in half just before getting wet and turning to dust at the same time. This meant that Naruto's greatest affinity was to wind over water and earth. This opened up a whole new possibilities for Naruto, as wind was the strongest offensive chakra type. After the two adults recovered from the slight shock, Yamato gave Naruto another piece of paper. Alright, now channel Kyuubi's chakra and we'll see what affinity it has, Jiraiya instructed. Naruto closed his eyes in concentration and sent a thought to the back of his mind. Hey Furball, give me a little of your chakra. Naruto felt the chakra flow through him, and he then directed into his right hand, that was holding the paper. When he did not feel the paper react, he opened his eyes to see the paper still just as pristine as before. Hey, what happened? Did you give me the wrong piece of paper, Yamato-sensei? No, I made sure it was the right paper, Yamato answered. His face was just as confused as Naruto's. Jiraiya, on the other hand, looked thoughtful and was already thinking of a possibility. The only way for the paper not to react to the chakra is if the chakra is elementally neutral. How is that possible? Yamato asked, not hiding his surprise. I thought that was impossible. It's extremely rare but not unheard of, Jiraiya answered. But how is it possible for a bijou, the very definition on an elemental being? I have no idea. I'll have to think about this. He turned Naruto. Well, enough of this, get back to training. Today is more body hardening. Naruto groaned, knowing he was going to be sore all day. Jiraiya had deduced a possible explanation for the neutrality of the Kyuubi's chakra, a combination of the seal, the Shodame's power, and Tsunade's necklace, but he would have to experiment on that later. Right now, he had more important things to think about, like how to plan out Naruto's training. Originally, Jiraiya planned on continuing Naruto's training he was doing here in the village and maybe teach him some of his own Numa, bog/swamp, jutsus, and a few more Doton, earth element, and Suiton, water element, jutsus. A third elemental affinity opened up another path for Naruto that could be extremely useful and powerful. The more Jiraiya thought about it, the more he liked it. It would require a change in plan, but nothing Jiraiya could not handle. Naruto, before you leave, I want to talk to you about what we're going to be doing on the training trip, Jiraiya said to his apprentice. Okay, Ero-sanin, Naruto replied. Stop calling me that, Jiraiya bellowed. Anyway, before we get into that, let me ask you something. Jiraiya paused, knowing that it would make Naruto more curious, and thus make it easier to talk to him. Do you know how a person in Konoha gets the title of Sannin or Hokage? It's because the shinobi is super strong, Naruto answered confidently. Not exactly, Jiraiya answered. Becoming as strong as we are is only a part of being a Sannin, or the Hokage. Konoha has always had a knack of producing strong shinobi, Class A and even Class S, pretty consistently. What separates a strong shinobi from the Hokage or Sannin is that the Hokage and Sannin are absolute masters at part of shinobi life. That's cool and all, but what does that have to do with my training? Naruto asked. All this talk about Hokage and Sannin got him very interested, but he wanted to know about the next stage of his training. I'm getting to that, Jiraiya answered. But to continue, I am master at espionage. When I don't want to be found, nothing short of the Byakugan can find me. Then why are you always getting caught, girls you peep on? Naruto asked with a smirk. I occasionally indulge in SNM, Jiraiya answered with a straight face, causing Naruto to shiver. Back to the subject at hand, and this time don't interrupt. Naruto nodded and Jiraiya continued. Tsunade is a master of medicine. She knows the ins and outs of everything that goes into the profession, from jutsus to research to surgery to invention. She even holds several patent rights on medical equipment she invented. That's also why she is never truly broke from her gambling the royalties from their manufacture and bring in a huge bundle for her. Naruto could not help but smile at the news. Orochimaru is a jutsu master. He can analyze, dissect and replicate just about any jutsu he sees, through research of course. At least unless he gets the Sharingan, that is. Naruto frowned at that. The Naiden Hokage was a Kenjutsu and a Suiton master. His skill with the sword and ability to manipulate water were greater than anyone in Kiri, Mist, has ever produced. The Yondaime was a seal master. He was the youngest Konoha ever had. He used his expertise to create dozens of seals, including the one that trapped Kyuubi, and the one that he put on some special kunai gave him his infamous Shunshin no Jutsu, body flicker, and his nickname, the Yellow Flash of Konoha. The Shodaime was a war master. He knew every aspect of battle and warfare and used that knowledge to unite the shinobi clans in Fire Country during the first Great Shinobi War and found Konoha. And finally there was the Sandaime. He was an elemental master. He had mastery of all 5 chakra elemental affinities, and that allowed him to learn over 1,000 elemental jutsus, and invent several hundred others that Konoha now uses. Jiraiya paused again, taking the most serious look Naruto had ever seen on the Sannin outside of battle. Naruto, what I am going to be training you to become is Konoha's next elemental master. Naruto stared wide-eyed at Jiraiya for a few seconds before he yelled, Alright. I'm going to kick so much ass. Jiraiya chuckled at Naruto's shout and the subsequent improvised dance that followed. Suddenly Naruto stopped his little celebration and asked, But why me? Why hasn't someone else become an elemental master? Others have tried but ultimately failed, Jiraiya said. They did not have the training or the affinity to become an elemental master. Most jounin can develop an affinity for 2 or 3 elements in their carrier. Kakashi is one such person. A rare few can develop 4. Orochimaru and Uchiha Itachi are examples of them. But to develop an affinity for all 5, one must develop affinities multiple elements at a young age, such as the Sandaime did and you do. Oh yes, I'm going kick so much ass! Naruto yelled as he once again started his celebratory dance. Just you wait, Sasuke team, bastard, I'll be strong enough to kick Orochimaru's ass and drag you back. You have a long way to go before you can accomplish that, Naruto, Jiraiya thought. Out loud Jiraiya yelled, Well, we're done for the day. Get out of here so I can do some research. I feel like I might get caught. No sooner did Jiraiya finish did he see an orange blur dashing out of the clearing. Naruto did not want to think about the SNM comment Jiraiya made earlier. Later that night Jiraiya was having a drink with Tsunade and told her about what he planned to do with Naruto's training. Do you really think Naruto can become an elemental master like Sensei was? Tsunade asked after taking a drink of sake. I wouldn't have said anything to him if I didn't think he could do it, Jiraiya answered, taking a drink of his own sake. In fact, we may see a few masters coming out the current generation. Hyuga Niji may be the next Juken, Gentle Fist, master. Rock Lee is already well on his way to becoming Guy's successor as the Guken, Iron Fist, master. With you training that Sakura girl, she'll likely be the next medic Senins. If that Nara kid got off his lazy ass, he would be the next strategy master. Hell, I think with the right training that Hyuga Eris could be a good seal master. Maybe not one for combat like the Yondaime, but with her Byakugan and the control she has she could do well. All she really needs is the proper motivation. That would be a sight to see, Tsunade admitted. A member of the Hyuga branch house being the next master of Juken, and the heiress of the main house learning how to make and break seals. And considering Hinata hates the branch house seal, the two would probably end that division of the Hyuga real quick. I can just imagine the look on those old fools' faces if it happens, Jiraiya said with a loud laugh. They'd probably die of a heart attack seeing their precious seal become useless. Tsunade shared Jiraiya's laugh, taking a swig of sake. Still, you're probably right. A lot of the genin have quite a bit of talent, some of it still untapped. I think I'll look more into their profiles and comments from their Jounin senseis and see about advanced training for them. Jiraiya gave a salute with his sake cup at the idea, and the two proceeded to get extremely drunk for the rest of the night. One had to feel bad for Shizen, however, as she had the unfortunate task of taking them to their beds and cleaning up their mess. The week passed quickly, and Naruto and Jiraiya were standing before Konoha's main gates preparing to leave. There were only two people, Tsunade and Shizen, three if you count Tantan, to see them off due to missions and previous engagements. We'll see you in 2 years, Jiraiya said to his teammate. 2 years, Tsunade nodded. She turned to Naruto and gave him a soft but affectionate hug. Take care of yourself, Naruto-kun, and don't let him turn you into a pervert. Don't worry, Oba-chan, Naruto said. I won't turn like Ero-sennin. And you had better take care of the village because I don't want any mess to fix when I get back and become the Rokudaime. Goodbye, Naruto-kun, I'll miss you. Shizen joined in with Tantan, oinking his agreement. I'll miss you too, Shizen-nekin, Naruto replied. He then leaned in to whisper, don't let Oba-chan gamble away all of Konoha's money. This earned him a bop on the herd, as he was not as quiet as he thought. Get going, Gaki brat, before I put you in the hospital for that, Tsunade said. Come on, Naruto, we've got a lot of ground to cover, Jiraiya said, walking away. Naruto trotted after him, rubbing his head and waving back to Tsunade and Shizen. The 2 years since Naruto and Jiraiya left Konoha passed. For some it was faster than others. For people like the genin that took the Chunin exam during the Oto, Sound, and Suna, Sand, invasion, the time passed quickly, what with training and missions to take. For people like the Godaime Hokage and her assistant Shizen, the time passed sometimes at a fast pace, both training Sakura or working at the hospital, and sometimes at a slow pace, Tsunade being forced to do paperwork and Shizen having to hunt her down when she got tired of it. For others like the people in charge of gate duty, the time passed agonizingly slow. The tediousness of having to ask every person the same questions overrode the seldom occurrence of meeting new and interesting people. It had turned out that having Naruto in the village made gate duty actually bearable. The long hours were filled with discussions of the blonde bundle of energy. Whether a person liked him or hated him, Naruto would always come up in conversation. How long until we get off? A Chunin guard asked. 4 hours, 57 minutes and 15 seconds, his friend and partner answered. Damn, only 2 minutes and 20 seconds passed since the last time I checked, the first Chunin complained. I wish something would happen. A new person coming by. A shinobi or kunoichi coming back from a mission with an interesting story. An Inuzuka dog chasing the fire daimyo's wife's cat. Anything. As if to answer the plea, a shout from the jounin in charge of the gate detail came up to them. A pair of guys are approaching, she said. The Chunins looked at each other, then out to the road. Sure enough, 2 individuals were walking at a leisurely pace towards them. It looks like a tall, long, white-haired man with a shorter man, no wait, a teenager with blonde hair. The jounin paused as the two got closer. She was able to make out their faces. It's Jiraiya-sama and Naruto-san. Looks like things are going to get more lively soon, one of the Chunins said, with the other nodding happily. The end to their perpetual boredom was at hand. The master and apprentice moved closer. The differences that occurred became noticeable to the Chunin. Jiraiya had not changed too much. He still wore the same outfit he did 2 years previously. The only real difference was he had a couple more age lines and his hair was little longer. Naruto, on the other hand, changed a great deal. He was dressed in a similar style of clothing he had 2 years ago, only this time the color pattern was reversed, blue with orange trim. On anyone else it would have looked funny at best, stupid at worst, but for Naruto it seemed to work. He also carried a large scroll, almost as big as the one Jiraiya always carried, on his back. His physical appearance had also changed. He was taller now by at least 15 centimeters, making him about a head shorter than Irika. His blonde hair was even spikier than before, and his eyes seemed to be an even deeper shade of blue. One thing that did not seem to change was his fox-like grin he had plastered on his face. When they finally got the gate, the jounin greeted the pair with a smile. Welcome back, Jiraiya-sama, Naruto-san. Jiraiya looked at the kunoichi jounin, and a smile spread on his face. It was not a friendly, sorrowful, or even a malevolent smile. No, it was the one Jiraiya always got when he met an attractive female, a perverted smile. Jiraiya attempted to move closer so he could try and get a date, but Naruto distracted him by kicking him in the shin. Hey Ero Sennin. Don't waste my time. I saw enough of you getting rejected on the trip. I don't need to see it now that I'm home. Own! Jiraiya yelled, rubbing his sore shin. Gaki brat, you know I never get rejected. Why women all over the world dream about me every night? Only in their nightmares, Ero Sennin, Naruto said flatly. How many times do I have to tell you not to call me that? Jiraiya yelled as he chased the laughing Naruto into the village. After the pair left, the first Chunin from before said, Yep, things are already looking up. In the Hokage's office, Tsunade was in the middle of a meeting about the upcoming Chunin exam with the Suna representative, the Jounin Temari. How will lodgings be handled this year? Early reports say that this exam is going to be big. Kazekage-sama has set aside the necessary room for the participants and the guests, Temari answered. He has even arranged for extra room in the stables for. Temari was cut off by an administrator Chunin busting through the door. Hokage-sama. There is a disturbance in the market. You busted into my office when Iz was holding an important meeting just to tell me about some pickpocket. Tsunade said sternly. Oh, of course not, Tsunade-sama, the now frightened Chunin replied. The disturbance was caused by Jiraiya-sama and Uzumaki-san. Tsunade's frown, that appeared at the interruption, faded into a small smile at the news. Very well, thank you for the news. You are dismissed. The Chunin bowed and exited the office as quickly as he could. While the Chunin left, Temari smiled herself a little. So that kid is back. I wonder how he's changed. Let's continue, Tsunade said, returning to the meeting. I want to finish this as soon as I can. Temari nodded, knowing exactly why Tsunade wanted to finish. In the market, Jiraiya and Naruto had finally stopped causing problems with the appearance of two Jounins. One was silver-haired, wearing a mask with his nose buried in small orange book, and the other was a dark-haired man wearing some kind of headgear, and had a small smile on his face. Don't you think the two of you are causing too much noise? The dark-haired Jounin asked. Yamato-sensei, Kakashi-sensei. Naruto called out, running up to the pair. It's good to see you both. Kakashi, closing his book, greeted Naruto with friendly wave. Hey Naruto, you've certainly grown. I'd say you're finally taller than Sakura. Hey, it's not right to make fun of a person's height like that, Naruto complained. Even though he was at a respectable height for a person his age, Naruto had some leftover sensitivity about his short stature when he was a kid. Just for that you don't get the gift I got for you. Gift? Yamato and Kakashi asked with a slight surprise. Yeah, I got one for everyone, Naruto said, setting down his traveling pack. He reached inside and pulled out a small bonsai tree and handed it to Yamato. A waterfall country bonsai tree? Yamato asked as he took the tree. These are hard to get in Fire Country. Did that mean you went all the way to Waterfall Country to train? No, Naruto said. I actually only got the seed from a merchant. Grew the tree myself with my Mokuton, wood element, abilities. I guess your mastery of the Mokuton has increased, Yamato commented. These are hard to grow from a seed, even the Shodaime was said to have some problems with them. Thank you for the gift. Oh, speaking of the Mokuton, here's the scroll back, Naruto said, taking the scroll that was attached to his backpack and handing it to Yamato. Yamato gently pushed the scroll back to Naruto. No, Naruto, you keep. I've learned all I can from it, so you should have it. Thanks, Yamato-sensei, Naruto said, reattaching the scroll to his backpack. Kakashi decided this was the time he wanted to inquire about his gift. He knew that a rare bonsai tree was a thoughtful gift for Yamato, and wondered what Naruto got him. So Naruto, what did you get me? Naruto eyed for a moment, still a little upset about the crack at his former height. With a mischievous smile, Naruto reached into his bag once more and pulled out a book about the same size as the one Kakashi had in his hand. Well, I got you this, but I don't think I'm going to give it to you. In Naruto's hand was a book with the title Ika Ika, Come, Tactics. It's the latest edition, not even in the stores yet. Kakashi went from curious to surprised, practically begging in the blink of an eye once he saw what Naruto got for him. Please, Naruto. I'm sorry I joked about your height. I promise I'll never do it again. Naruto looked at Kakashi with a look that was akin to disgust mixed with pity. Here was a grown man in shinobi, a jounin no less, and begging for something as simple as a book. Fine, here, Naruto said, handing the book over. Kakashi snatched it from Naruto's hand and began to rub it against his cheek like it was the most precious thing in the world to him. It was at this point that a few other people, Tsunade, Shizen and Sakura, showed up. Hey Tsuando Basin, Shizen-nichan, Sakura-chan, Naruto waved, then cringed slightly when Tsunade frowned at him and her eyebrows started to twitch. Not wanting to get his, Naruto quickly ducked back down to his pack and pulled out another gift. This time a beautifully crafted sake set with the kanji for Gambling Queen stenciled onto the bottle and cups. This is for you. Tsunade lost her anger and inspected the sake set. Very nice, Naruto. I'll let you off the hook this time. Naruto breathed a sigh of relief, but only this time. Naruto gulped a bit, then went back to his pack and pulled out a small jewelry box and opened it, revealing a simple but good quality necklace. I didn't know what to get you, so I just got you this. Naruto felt a little guilty about not getting Shizen something more personal. Shizen just smiled like a sister and took the jewelry box. It's beautiful, Naruto-kun. Thank you. So what did you get me, Naruto? Sakura asked. Naruto had already dropped back down to his pack for the 5th time by the time Sakura asked her question. Still rifling through his pack, Naruto answered, Well, I knew you were training under Tsunade, I mean Tsunade. Naruto was just able to catch himself before Tsunade's temper got to her, and so I got you this. Naruto said as he stood up and handed Sakura a medium-sized box. Sakura opened the box and inside was a top-quality surgeon set. These are excellent quality, Sakura said, inspecting a particularly sharp scalpel. Well, I figured you could use them since you're a medic nin and all, Naruto said, rubbing the back of his head. Tsunade had come over to inspect the set herself and was impressed with the quality. Usually a medic nin uses their chakra for surgery, but we always have a backup set in case we need to conserve our chakra. Sakura nodded in agreement and pulled Naruto, who had picked up his backpack, away from the adults. Come on, let's go find the others. I'm sure they'll like what gifts you got them. She stopped for a moment, then asked, You did get them gifts too, right? Of course I did, Naruto said in an indignant voice, like it was an insult that he would be so thoughtless. Sakura gave no response except to drag Naruto off down the road. Once they left, Tsunade had to ask, How did Naruto afford all of this? Well, the book was a birthday present to him from me, Jiraiya admitted, a little upset that his gift was given away. But then again, he knew that Kakashi was enjoy it more, so he was not all that upset. The others he got the money from gambling parlors. The others gave him a flat look. What the kid had unbelievable luck when it comes to slot machines. He won all the money he needed and then some. That damn Gaki, Tsunade thought. I don't know how, but I know he's been taking all my luck. So just how strong has Naruto gotten? Yamato asked. He had been meaning to ask for a while now but did not have an opportunity. All eyes looked at Jiraiya, even Kakashi, who had put his new book away. Naruto is at least a Class B ninja in terms of overall ability. He knows about 1/4 of the Mokuton Justice, a few Suiton, Water Element, and Diton, Earth Element, and some Futon, Wind Element. He's still working on controlling Katon, Fire Element, but has made almost no progress in his Raiton, Lighting Element. The last one are the hardest for him as it is opposite of his primary. It'll probably take a couple of years more for him to be able to use Raiton effectively. Jiraiya stopped for a moment as the others had contemplative looks on their faces. His taijutsu still has no recognizable style, but it is more refined and successful. He'll probably never get above mid-Chunin low Jounin. His genjutsu is limited to only detection and cancellation. That would put him on the level of a new Jounin then, Kakashi mused. He just needs his experience in real battle, and I do not doubt he will be able to pass the Jounin test, Jiraiya said, smiling. In all honesty, if Naruto had not been able to use Kagebushin, Shadow Clone, then we would not have been able to cover as much as we did. I'll have to give him a test to see how his abilities work with others, Kakashi said. But I'll keep what you said in mind. Have you figured out why the Kyuubi's chakra was elementally neutral? Tsunade asked. Yeah, Jiraiya answered. It is a combination of everything that makes the Kyuubi's chakra neutral. His innate ability to control a Biju's, tailed beast, chakra from Shodame, the seal, and your old necklace all act as a filter that negates the elemental nature of the chakra. Essentially, when Naruto uses the Kyuubi's chakra, it is completely neutral but still more potent than a human's. This is why if he were to use the Kyuubi's chakra while performing a jutsu, the results are a lot bigger, I guess you could say. What is his level when he uses the Kyuubi's chakra? Kakashi asked. He remembered that Naruto's fighting abilities would increase dramatically if he were to use it. Depending on how much he uses, anywhere from Class A to Class S, Jiraiya answered. The problem is he cannot sustain it. Using the Kyuubi's chakra is like opening the celestial gates with him. Gives him extraordinary strength but only for a short time. The human body, no matter how tough or what special powers it has, cannot use a Biju's chakra for a sustained period of time. So even with his abilities, if he uses too much, Naruto could die, Yamato summarized. Jiraiya gave a brief nod. How much is too much, though? When he manifests 3 tails, his body starts to injure itself, giving him a maximum window of 10 minutes to fight. At 4 tails it cuts down to less than a minute, Jiraiya answered. Any longer, and he will suffer from extreme exhaustion, and be bedridden for nearly a week. You sound so sure, Shizen said. Has this happened before? Yes, about a year ago, Jiraiya answered. Jiraiya did not go into details, but they could tell it worried him. Naruto knows his limitations and won't push it that far unless forced to. Left unsaid was that they knew Naruto would if he felt someone he cared about was in danger. Well, if that's all, Kakashi spoke up. I think I'll head off now. I have a new book to read. Kakashi, pay extra attention to chapter 4, Jiraiya said. I'm sure you'll appreciate it, GCK. Jiraiya's perverted laugh was cut off but a punch to the head from a very irritated Tsunade. Don't talk about your perverted books around me, Tsunade yelled. And you, Kakashi. She turned around only to see the place Kakashi stood now empty. I swear I'm going to burn every one of those books one day. Sakura had dragged Naruto for about 15 minutes until they ran into the first of their friends, Temari and Shikamaru. When they stopped, Naruto took a moment to see the differences in the pair standing before him. Temari still had her hair in its old style, and her dress was now a full-length kimono with a large fan attached to her back. Her face was more mature, and her eyes showed greater experience that comes from the life of a high-level ninja. All in all, Temari looked almost the same as 2 years ago, only instead of a girl in her early teens she was a beautiful young woman. Shikamaru was dressed in a standard Konoha shinobi uniform with a standard Konoha Chunin vest. His hair was still in the same style as when he was a genin. The only noticeable difference was that he was taller than before. It was almost as if growing up was touch of a bother for the lazy Chunin. Temari, Shikamaru, it's great to see you again, Naruto said with excitement. With a sigh, Shikamaru replied, I see you're just as loud as before, Naruto. I see you're not so much of a runt anymore, Temari said. Ah, that was uncalled for, Naruto whined a little. Why is everyone making fun of my height? First it was Kakashi-sensei, and now it's Temari. Naruto went into a pout for a few seconds while the two girls giggled and Shikamaru made a comment about troublesome women. This earned him a slap from both Temari and Sakura. After Shikamaru picked himself off the ground, Naruto asked, So what's been going on with you guys? What rank are? Did anything interesting happen to you while I was away? Are you going out? Taking a moment to process the rapid-fire questions from the hyperactive shinobi, Temari was the first to answer. Well, I'm a jounin now, and so is Kankuro. Nothing overly exciting other than a couple of missions that I can't tell you about. She then looked at her lazy companion and gave a snort of disgust, and not, we aren't going out. We're just talking because we're both liaisons for the upcoming Chunin exam. I'm still a Chunin, Shikamaru said with a sigh. I've seen some good clouds of the last few months. Shikamaru thought for a moment, trying to see if adding anything more would be more or less troublesome. Considering it was Naruto he was talking to, he decided to add a few things because Naruto would annoy him to no end otherwise. The rest of our graduation class are also Chunin, except for Shino. He's a jounin, so is Niji from Gai-sensei's team. Lee and Tenten are Chunins. That about it. Hey Temari, you mentioned Kankuro becoming a jounin. What about Gaara? Naruto asked. I was wondering when you'd ask about him. Temari smirked. He's been made the Kazekage, youngest Kage in the history of the shinobi villages. We're so proud of him. Naruto stared at the jounin for several seconds before he frowned. Damn, he beat me out. Then he mouth turned upward. Well, that just means I'll have to train even harder and surpass him and become a better Kage. It was at this point that Sakura decided to interrupt. Naruto, don't you have something to give to Shikamaru? Oh right, Naruto said. Almost forgot his present, thanks Sakura-chan. Naruto swung his backpack around, opened it up and reached in and pulled out small brown box. I got this for you on my trip. It's a traveling game box. You can play shogi, go, chess, and a bunch of other strategy games. You change the board with churka and a couple of hand seals. The instructions are inside the box. Shikamaru took the box and noticed that it unfolded into shogi board and assumed the pieces and instruction manual were on the inside. Thanks Naruto, but where did you get this? Got from a wandering need, said it helped pass the time traveling. Thought you would like it, Naruto said, digging through his pack once more. I also got you, Kankuro and Gaara, something as well, Temari. I was going to mail them, but since you're here I can give all three to you. He handed Temari a pair of folded-up fans. These is for you. Temari took the fans and unfolded them, showing there were in fact small battle fans with blades instead of the usual spokes held together by the cloth. Very nice, these will be great for undercover missions when I can't use my normal fan. They have a special addition to each fan, Naruto added, digging through his pack yet again. The one in your right hand has a katon, fire element, sealed into giving the wind it produces a scolding addition to it. The other one had a sueton, water element, sealed into it giving it a freezing addition to its wind. Got them from a supplied Erosenin nose. Naruto apparently found what he was looking for and pulled out 2 more items. Got this after a won a bet in a tourist town, figured Kankuro would like it. What he handed over was ticket to some kind of show. It's to a kabuki show that's playing in the capital of Forest Country. These are amazing, Temari commented on the fans, and Kankuro has been trying to get tickets to that show for months. The last one is for Gaara. Really didn't know what to get him, Naruto said kind of sheepishly. I know he has trouble sleeping, so I got him a manual on meditation. It should help him a little. Thank you, Naruto, Temari said softly. She knew what he was referring to, and a gift like that would be very helpful for her youngest brother. Did you get presents for everyone? Shikamaru asked. Yep, Naruto said. Hey Shikamaru, do you know where everyone is? Sakura asked. It'd be helpful in tracking everyone down. I think Guy's team is at Training Grounds 12, Asuma-sensei is on a date with Kurenai-sensei, Chuji is helping out at his family's restaurant, Ino's doing the same at the flower shop, and I don't know where the others are. Hey, you said nothing interesting happened, Naruto accused. I would say Asuma-sensei and Kurenai-sensei dating is an interesting event. You asked if anything interesting happened to us. Them dating has nothing to do with me, Shikamaru replied. We probably shouldn't bother them, Sakura spoke up, so we'll find the others, thanks Shikamaru. Sakura waved before dragging Naruto off once again. A few minutes later, Naruto and Sakura were approaching Training Area 12 when they heard the call of the rare species of Konoha green beasts, Yash. If I can't do 1,000 squats, I'll kick the stump 4,000 times with each leg. Yes, my adorable student, show your power of youth. Sounds like Fuzzy Brows and Super Fuzzy Brows haven't changed much, Naruto said. Sakura, only her blonde teammate, a nod, knowing from first experience this was true. When they entered center of the training ground, they saw Guy and Lee doing their usual insane training methods. Guy looked the same, and so did the Lee, only Lee now had a Chunin vest making look even more like his idol. Niji was off to their right, seemingly staring off into the distance. Considering that his Byakugan was activated, that could be very well true. He was dressed in a white and black battle hamaka. His hair appeared even longer, and he was about a head shorter than Guy. Tenten was off to their right performing a kata with 2 Chinese swords. She was wearing maroon Chinese pants with a white Chinese shirt and a large scroll attached to her back. Her hair was just like it was 2 years ago. Niji was the first to turn to face them. Welcome back, Naruto. Niji's greeting caught everyone's attention and made them stop and turn. Your chakra coils seem to have increased greatly. I can only assume you have gotten stronger. You bet I have, Naruto exclaimed. You guys look stronger too. I can't wait to fight you. Yash, I look forward to the challenge, Lee said. Well, before you get into it, why don't you give them their gifts, Naruto? Sakura suggested, so they would not get sidetracked as before. Right, Naruto said, digging through his pack. The first object he brought out was a think book that looked old but taken well care of. This is for you, Fuzzy Brows. Got it from a rare bookstore. It's an old taijutsu training manual. It was written by a guy named Bruce Lee. His name is what caught my attention. Br Bruce Lee, Lee yelled. That was the name of ancestor. Lee immediately started flipping through pages, his eyes filled with tears. This is written work on Jeet Kune-do. Oh, thank you, Naruto-kun. My family has been looking for a copy of this for generations. The rest of the group were absolutely floored by the news, and it took them several minutes to recover. You're welcome, Fuzzy Brows, Naruto exclaimed before going through his pack again. This time he took out a well-made brush and ink set. Before I left, Hinata told me you like to do calligraphy, so I got this for you. I do, and think this is a well-thought-out gift, Niji admitted. For you, Tenten had trouble getting your gift because I didn't know your size, Naruto admitted, handing Tenten a clothing box. Tenten opened the box, and inside was a beautiful Chinese white dress with a golden dragon wrapping around the torso from the right hip to the left shoulder. This is gorgeous, Tenten exclaimed. Sakura too shared Tenten's opinion as she gazed at dress. Who would have thought Naruto had such a good eye for clothes, Sakura muttered. If it doesn't fit right, the lady who made said she would be willing to adjust it for you, Naruto added. Her name and how to get in touch with her are in the box. Naruto then reached into his pack for a fourth and pulled out a pair of leg bands that Lee and Guy often wore. These are you, Super Fuzzy Brow. At first I was going to get you and Fuzzy Brows the same thing, but the book changed that idea. Glad I did. Naruto took a quick glance at Lee and saw him reading his new family heirloom, then turned back to Guy. Anyway, these can adjust their weight by chakra. More you put in, the more they weigh. Yash, such thoughtful gifts from my rival student, Guy yelled, taking the weights. For once Lee did not join him as he was still reading his book. With these I shall extend my victory of my cool hip rival. Well, we have to find the others, Sakura said. We'll see you guys later. Team Guy gave absent waves of goodbye as they were all admiring their gifts. After a few minutes, Sakura spoke up again. Those gifts were really thoughtful, Naruto. I know Lee especially will enjoy his. Thanks Sakura-chan, Naruto replied, so who's next?